Okay, here we go. Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay, we're live right now. Okay. Okay, let me just
Well.
Just hitting my phone so you shouldn't hear that again.
Hello, world.
Okay, hello everyone. How you guys doing? Hope everyone's having a great Friday. I'm sorry I started kind of late today, guys. It was just that video that I was working on last night. Next project that I'm working on now is the lore video. Okay. My night's good, Keiju. How are you, man? Okay. Okay, let's get over to Valentine then. Hey, Rashawn. Hey, Steve. Hey, Locke. Hey, guys. That video will probably be this month, but this month I'm gonna have it's either gonna be a GTA 4 lore video or a GTA San Andreas lore video, but we got a lore video coming up next. You streaming late tonight, Pro? Yeah, I know, but Sunday we'll be doing an earlier stream. Why does the horse, like, slow down when there's wolves chasing it? I don't understand.
Horses are scared of wolves, especially if they're in numbers.
Yeah, but they should just keep running. I don't know why they would slow down for a little bit.
Because they're cowards.
Alright, took care of
So
that.
glad to catch one of your live streams, watching a ton of your content lately, dude. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Steve. Did you hear that Walmart is closing all their stores in Portland, Oregon, to how rampant urban crime has become there since the summer of 2020? Well, I actually did hear about how Walmart is closing down their stores in Portland. But here's the thing about that: the reason that Walmart is closing down its stores in Portland, the main reason, what they're not telling you, it's probably due to shoplifting. That's probably the main crime. So it's, people are committing, crimes. They're stealing a lot of things constantly in these stores, and basically what's happening is, you have states like Oregon and the city of Portland that aren't really enforcing that, and so Walmart is just getting fed up and they're getting pissed, and so they just decided to leave. That's pretty much what had happened. The thing about this is the politicians will not blame won't blame themselves for it. They'll just blame Walmart for leaving.
I'm gonna get going now. See you guys on Sunday. Take care.
Okay, I'll see you, man.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Is it weird that you're the first YouTuber I congratulate for having a sponsor? I often skip ahead if it's some VPN or whatever, but not for you. Well, thank you, Mr. Waifu. Yeah, but here's the thing, guys. When I did that sponsorship the other day, that was my first sponsorship that I've ever done. And I'll tell you something. Over the years that I've run my YouTube channel, I have gotten hundreds of sponsorships, like hundreds of offers. And I have not, I've rejected every single one of them. The reason is because there was just, the products I wasn't interested in. They weren't. That was the only product that I was actually somewhat interested in, because I care a lot about my reputation. And so if I'm going to advertise a product, it's only going to be a product that I actually like and I think is cool. And so I actually do like that lamp a lot. I have it. It's cool. and it's actually really nice. And so that's why I did it with Galaxy lamps, because they're, you know, it was a good lamp, it was a good product, and I enjoyed it. And so I think other people would too.
What about if it's for a video game that you really like? Would you take that sponsor?
If it's for a video game that I like, sure, I'll do it. But I haven't ever gotten a sponsorship for a video game that I've ever done. Do you know what I got sponsorships for? I got sponsorship offers for Raid Shadow Legends before, like several emails. I was like, yeah, no, thank you. So it was, you know, I've gotten that, and I've gotten some like, I got some weird like offer once. It was something in Scotland. So it was like months ago. It was like there was this company that like emailed me wanting me to advertise this website where you would be like a lord in Scotland or something like that, and it's like you plant a tree, and the thing felt like really suspicious to me. Like I didn't like it. Like it felt really off to me, and so I didn't do it. And then I found out later on that was a scam. So later on it came out that was a scam. I actually wasn't surprised that was a scam, because that whole thing, that Scotland email, was like some lord thing. It just, the whole thing felt to me like a scam. It was just weird because, and the reason that it was off to me, why I felt suspicious about it, was because they claimed to be a charity, but they wanted to pay you to advertise a charity, which I never, like, what kind of charity would pay somebody to advertise them? So like that's what I was thinking about basically. It was just weird. And the crazy thing about that is that Scotland scam, they then messaged me some knives. So they started like emailing me about something called Kamikoto knives, which are supposed to be like Japanese knives, but they're actually cheap Chinese fakes. So they're Hey Pro, good job in the top 15 on GTA. Great video. Thank you, Krillin. Thanks, man. Here. Yeah, I'll play poker today. Sweet, Reddit Online is great. Thank you, Steve. I just wish that this game had gotten more love. I really wish it would. Resident Evil 4 Remake is on its way. Do I enjoy any survival horror games? Not really. I have to play that Dark Pictures game, the new one that came out. I didn't get the chance to play that one, which I should play it. But
You were playing Zombie recently. It's a good survival horror game, right?
yeah, I mean, I guess you would say Zombie is a survival horror game, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you,
same goes for
Keiju.
Dying Light.
Isn't it like Dead Island, like basically like survival?
Yeah,
Yep.
they've given up. Rockstar's given up on this game.
What exactly is zombie? I thought it sounded like-
It's this one zombie game that's set in London, England, and it used to be on the at first the Wii U, but it came out on the PlayStation.
You know what makes no sense about Zombie? There's certain zombies that attack you in that game that literally have like gas tanks on their backs. It's like some kind of like, you know, it's like they were an engineer or something like that, and they have like a gas tank. And the really stupid thing about those zombies is that if you hit them on the head, even with a baseball bat, the gas tank explodes and kills you. It's so stupid. It will only explode if you shoot it. That makes no sense. It's just, but that's like one thing I don't like about Zombie. It's like, it was that game, like, that didn't really make much sense, the exploding zombies. It was just, I thought that was part a little stupid.
In the Dying Light games, they actually have these hazmat zombies that have these like tank things on their back as well, oxygen tanks, and if you can make them explode as well and stuff. But the funny part is they go flying around like a balloon, and then they will explode in the air like fireworks.
Yeah. Ooh.
Which zombie games I should play? Like, which do you recommend me?
I help players on this game constantly. I mean, we're just hanging out, we're doing missions. Come on.
You can't go wrong with your
Horse, come on.
Or Dying Light.
Yeah, those games. I'm a massive fan of those types of games.
Dead Island?
Yep.
Yeah, that one's good.
Maybe
I
one day,
enjoy zombie
Ghoster.
apocalypse games. That's why I have my name as Zombfected.
How many are there? Aren't there like 3?
What, for Dead Islands?
No, there's only 2
Yeah.
Dead Island games.
Oh,
You
2.
Dead Island,
Oh,
one you have Dead Island Riptide.
okay.
The worship
I'm not
of
going to
Talos is
second.
strictly forbidden. Huh.
There's second one.
Somebody plays a little too much Skyrim.
Riptide is actually a an expansion to Dead Island 1. Dead Island 2 is coming out next month in April.
Oh. Okay.
Sonny Forelli's voice actor just died. Oh, I didn't know about that. Well, it's that's unfortunate. That's really sad. Who played him?
Respect.
He did a really good job as Sonny Forelli.
But matter of fact is, Dead Island 2 is not going to be made from the same creators as the original Dead Island.
Oh, so I guess I got played the first one.
Hello, friend. Nice to see you again. How's the professional doing today? I'm doing good, Sean Easy. How are you,
They've
man?
been like developing hell for like
Oh.
for years now.
Hey, Pro, I don't know if you know this. You know that actor that plays as from the Batman Arkham series?
No, I don't play those games.
Yeah, the voice actor of the Batman, Kevin.
Oh, I heard about that. He passed away too.
Yeah, he's
You're-
part of my childhood.
You're a Talos worshiper, aren't you? Actually, no. My character is actually a Sithis worshiper, not a Talos worshiper.
I think it's time to take a break of this.
Yeah, they're all in the party. Okay, wait until it's like 5 minutes and we'll deliver him. Well, I'll tell you something. Do you know what one of the most annoying things that I personally find, the most annoying thing that I find in anime is when they don't finish the anime and they just leave it off and then the manga just continues. I've always preferred to just watch it. That's what I just didn't like.
Yeah, the studio not renewing the whatever.
What
Who in
the-
the?
What the?
Right.
Are you kidding me right now?
Oh,
Well, I've parlayed already.
Just parlays. Yeah.
Yeah, just parlayed already.
Ooh, got blown up.
Oh well.
This is just, come on, guys. Like, seriously, I'm not doing anything to you.
Another one again.
Oh, they killed my horse.
oh my. Dude. Okay.
Somebody asked you
Parlaying
if
this
you
guy.
believe in life after death.
Okay. Okay, guys, let's get out of this lobby.
Your soul is downstairs, heating up already.
Let's deliver the bounty.
Great idea.
There.
Be nice of my horse,
See you
Ken.
again, no doubt. And this is for you. Don't spend it all at once.
Okay, that's weird.
Excuse me. Sorry, it's usually
what?
mute for that, but
The horse.
oh no, our table is broken.
Oh. Let's see.
Okay.
Anything else stuck on the screen?
Let's check that again. That looks really weird. It looked like Pat's was sitting on a dead horse.
Oh.
What the?
Your name is, your YouTube name is Ondelamar. Isn't Ondelamar, isn't that, I'm trying to remember all the characters in Skyrim. Isn't that Falmor guy that's in
It's okay.
Markarth? Isn't that the guy that's in, he walks around like the castle in Markarth? I think that's the one, right? That's the, Why do people do that? Oh, because they're cheap. I mean, you know, why are they using explosive arrows, really? You think about that. They can't kill in any other way. So, besides Sniper Elite 5 and the Saboteur, what other World War II games feature? Medal of Honor Frontline. I know they're in Medal of Honor Frontline. What else are they in? I think they might be Medal of Honor Airborne. They're in Call of Duty World at War.
The game called Commando Strike Force has the SS in it. You actually get to disguise yourself as one of them, actually.
Well, the SS were like the most evil of the Nazi regime, and they were some of the most elite troops, but they were literally the worst of the worst. You know, they were the most fanatical to the Nazi regime, but surprisingly, the SS actually do not appear as enemies in a lot of World War II games. Most of the time when you're fighting, it's the Wehrmacht that you're fighting.
Even the Gestapo are pretty crazy too. They're like the police.
Oh, the Gestapo very rarely appear in World War II games. They only appeared in 2 World War II games that I know. One was the Saboteur, and the other one was the Great Escape. Those 2 games they appear in, but you don't see them in any other.
Yeah, the game I was talking about, Commando Strike Force. Yeah, you actually get to see the Gestapo in that game, and you actually get to disguise yourself as one of them. So in a way, it kind of does feel a little bit like the Saboteur and Medal of Honor and Call of Duty actually mixed together, which is really cool.
What were the SS? They were the most evil of the Nazi regime. They were the worst guys.
I always thought the SS are the most brutal soldiers and the worst ones.
Really? I mean, the last. You know what the last GTA competitor that I would say would be? The last GTA competitor was probably Watch Dogs. That was probably the last GTA competitor. I can't really think of any other game that's a competitor to GTA anymore.
Yeah, Watch Dogs Legion Online was potentially a really good competitor, but sadly abandoned. I was just recently playing it a few minutes ago.
Just started watching The Sopranos for the first time, and I'm really into it. Thank you, George. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, The Sopranos is a great TV show. Do I know anything about the Spanish Inquisition? The Spanish Inquisition was, it was in Spain. It was a religious court. It was basically a religious court that would just doom people for just stupid religious offenses. And the thing is, the Spanish still like burnt people alive, even in the even in the 19th century. And what happened was the Napoleon ended it. So when France invaded the Spain, Napoleon did end the Spanish Inquisition. That's one of the few good things that Napoleon did do, is he put an end to the Spanish Inquisition.
Also, nobody expects it.
Yes, I will have a freelancer video coming out probably next week. Will I ever do a Skyrim playthrough? Possibly.
Bro, are you in a new session yet?
Yes, I am. Just join me here. I formed a posse. Well, the thing on the Lamar, the character that I was actually playing as in Skyrim right now is actually a high elf, and the thing about that is that's the first time I actually played as a high elf, because I've never played as a high elf before. I pretty much played as all the other races in Skyrim, but I never played as a high elf, and that was the first time that I did that. But the thing about that is that in Skyrim, if you actually play as a high elf, there are certain dialogues that you actually have in the game that's a little bit different. Like some of the Nords will be very racist to you if you play as a high elf, and when you have to do the Falmor Embassy quest, if you actually wear a Falmor disguise, you can actually walk past the guards in the Falmor Embassy. A lot of people actually don't know that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mario. Well, here's the thing is, you know, a city like Portland, the law enforcement is not to blame for, you know, a lot of the nonsense that happens in Portland, and it's not law enforcement. It's the district attorneys, the prosecutors, and the politicians who have basically just pushed a lot of these stupid policies that have caused these messes in the first place. Happy birthday, Isaiah. The SS were really evil people, Kevin. They were, the SS were also the people who ran the concentration camps. So that's, so they were literally the worst of the Nazi regime. They were really evil guys. I actually purchased LA Noire the other day, so maybe I could do that. What, Brandon?
There's an event coming up, King of the Castle in 5.
In 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. Guys, let's grab this guy and just deliver him instantly then.
Alright.
The update in July? This game is not going to get an update in July. If anything, it might get a few Telegram missions, that's it. This July, it's going to be 2 years since an update. Can you guys believe that? 2 years since this game has gotten an update on July. My god, yeah.
Wasn't it 2021? I think it was 2021. The game.
July of 2021.
1 month after Legion got abandoned, and in August of 2021, the year of the games that gets abandoned. Sadly.
Was that when they had the announcement, or was that when Blood Money came out?
I think Blood Money come out around that time? July 2021. I think. So in a way, you could say, yeah, just after Blood Money, the abandonment happened.
Okay. Here we go. Heartland. Overflow. Did you guys like that video that I made? The top 15 things that nobody does anymore in GTA Online? I was actually originally going to make that a top 10, but then I found a bunch of other stuff, and I decided, you know, I'm going to make this a top 15. It's the first top 15 I've ever done. Hell of a job with the video, pro. Thank you, Ant. Yes, I will, Kevin.
Search again? Damn.
Thank you, guys. I'm glad you enjoyed the video. Gotta find this guy quickly so we can do King of the Castle.
Man, this is a big search area.
Hey, Pro, I just got a new Lego set, by the way.
Oh, what kind?
Congratulations.
It's a Lego Technic, the Lego 4 GT. I know you're not into cars much, but it's a supercar, basically.
Hello, Viking.
He's based.
I found him. Okay.
You guys ever seen what Lego guns are like?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I seen these people were able to make like actual good guns out of Lego and stuff. It's actually really mind blowing.
What is that, Michael? Blood Money Part 2. Oh, don't give Rockstar ideas.
Oh, you're talking about somebody in chat. I thought you were talking my name.
These damn ropes off me.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Some like Lego guns, they got the slide working. They're able to eject shells out of it. It's pretty cool.
Yep, The magazines are pretty good.
And I'll be gonna order the ones for my minifigures, the guns, more like a bag full of it for my minifigures, including melee weapons.
Do I like the Enclave in the Fallout series? Oh, absolutely not. You know, Enclave are really bad guys.
But combat armor, or power armor rather.
What about the
Level
Brotherhood of
195.
Steel?
The SS killed and tortured innocent people. Yes, they did, Krillin. Yes, the SS were very cruel.
Hey, Pro,
Starting
you know
in a minute now.
hey, Pro, you know that rush tank that you talked about while you're playing the Chinatown Wars, the T-26?
Yes.
Yeah, they were mostly common in the Winter War, besides the T-34.
Was that the Russian tank that would engulf in flames if you threw a Molotov in the back hatch?
Probably if you throw it right towards the you know that area where the engines are.
Yes, like the back, like that place, because there was this one
The
Russian.
T-26, I'm pretty sure.
There was this one
that.
Russian
It was
tank.
good.
I don't know tanks that well. I know firearms much better. But there was this one Russian tank I know. It was in the Winter War, and if a Finnish soldier took a Molotov and threw it at the back of the tank, like right where the engine was, the tank would just completely engulf in flames. I don't remember what tank that was, but it was.
Sounds like the T-26.
No,
Yeah,
people
the
are saying
T-22s are basically
T-26.
light tanks in general. They're like very vulnerable, like an armor-piercing round, like with the bullets.
Thank you, Buckbeak. Thank you
And-
for sponsoring my channel. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Well, the T-26 specifically, that was a two-man crew. All you had was gunner, driver,
Yeah.
and the German Dak guns, the like the Panzer IIs, those 20 mils would shred those.
Yeah. But here's you know, since we were talking about World War II history here, I'll say also another thing. There's this false theory that spread around. It's nonsense, where people say that it was the SS who mostly had committed crimes and not the Wehrmacht, which that is completely false. While the SS were the most evil of the Nazi regime, they were the worst ones. You had plenty of other, you know, German units that weren't SS that committed horrible atrocities. You know, the German paratroopers, the Fallschirmjägers, those guys were ruthless, and they butchered villages in Eastern Europe. There was and the Wehrmacht had committed numerous atrocities, you know, across Europe. They did some really horrible things. If you look at, for example, the destruction of Warsaw, you know, the destruction of Warsaw basic in 1944, there was German soldiers that would go door-to-door flamethrowers and just burn the entire city down, and they burned, like, you know, people alive in their homes, and that was mostly the Wehrmacht who did that.
Of course, it's the Lancaster.
So it was, so, you know, when I hear people say that, like, they say, like, oh, you know, the Wehrmacht didn't commit war crimes, it was just the SS, that's not true. The Wehrmacht did a lot of really horrible things as well. So it was, while the SS were the worst, the other German units also, the other parts of the German army did horrible things as well.
The Bolsheviks also fought in Normandy, I believe.
Oh, great.
This Mars guy is very sus, by the way. I have not seen him on the map.
I just, Lancaster headshots, that's what I'm getting killed by right now. I'm gonna come on over, it's gonna, oh, King, I died a bunch of times already, but...
Okay, I'm not seeing this Mars guy on the map. This is very weird right now.
Of course.
Yeah, he's not coming on that. I can't get a clear shot at like I don't know.
What the? Great.
I don't know why people do that. They just like, oh, the match just started. I thought they were just like killing during like before the
Okay,
match starts.
Mars is off the radar.
Of course.
And
Yeah, he is, you're right.
can't lock onto him.
You gotta be kidding me. You got another stupid
In a
cheater.
crew
Come.
mode event. Imagine, dude.
My God, this is just so. You guys see this loser? He's literally doing off the radar glitches, and I can't lock onto him. Can you guys lock onto him either?
No, I don't even
No,
see him
I
on the map.
can't-
I
no.
just get surprise killed by him.
Just died from metal.
And I'm getting shot by these
Come in,
Lancaster
shot me.
spammers also in the head constantly. It's just
Damn.
Yeah, he's in the circle, but he's not on the map. There he is.
Okay, he's going to headshot. I'm going
What
headshots too.
you know. And there's
Guy is a
Gretchen. I
loser.
think is Gretchen also not on the map? I could be wrong on that, but does somebody check? Tell me if you see Gretchen on the map. If you want to kill him, use incendiary rounds. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Mars is...
Great.
Gretchen, I don't see Gretchen there either.
Oh my god.
They just want to cheat. Just
What a
because they
loser!
can-
Like
they can-
seriously, like you're gonna this game is dead. Like Rockstar has abandoned this game, and you're still gonna cheat in free mode events. Like who does this? Who like cheats in like free mode events on Red Dead Online? It's like, you know, what a loser. That's
Got one of them.
guys. Let's just make sure
they
he doesn't win it. Let's just that. Oh my god.
Jesus.
Gretchen again, guys.
Oh, yeah,
Is
look at
Gretchen
this.
cheating also?
Yes, Gretchen is off the radar. He was right next to me, and I couldn't lock onto him.
Get those cheating
Okay.
balls.
Oh, they're in the posse, by the way. The
Oh,
Mars
crap,
and
wrong-
Gretchen.
Oh my god.
They're in the posse. I killed Mars somehow.
Oh my god. I literally just headshot
Oh
that
my
guy.
god, I'm just getting. It's just. I died so many times. I haven't killed one person yet. It's just. This is just such a.
Yeah.
I don't care who wins, guys. Just don't let them. Just don't let them win it.
Yeah. I killed Mars somehow though. He's yeah.
What the? Okay.
Mars again.
What the heck?
I haven't even
Or
gotten one
someone
kill yet.
kill. Thanks, by the way, as I'm being sarcastically.
Okay, look at this.
Oh, come on.
Dude, get
Okay,
good.
there we
Oh
go.
my god.
Why is it 3 shots there to kill?
Bro.
Oh my god.
No, come on, man. You gotta be such a scumbag like this. Like it's like these. For people wondering what they're doing off the radar glitches where you can't see them on the map and you can't lock onto them too. It's like, what a bunch of like.
Got your ass.
Oh my god.
Take
I hey, bro, I can at least use dead on him, use those spark things so I'm able to shoot them, and able to kill them. So
Whoever has slippery, just turn it on. Don't let them hit
Gretchen, of course. It's just that. It's. Oh my god. It's. Guys, if you have a shotgun, use incendiary rounds in the shotgun. That's literally the only way to stop them when they're doing this stuff.
I can't call my horse.
I'm all out of insanity rounds.
I have my Lamots, that's it.
I could barely get any kills.
Okay.
Whoa.
No, I'm just gonna use the target just for a fight against them. If they're gonna play like that, I'll play like that too.
Like, you know, I gotta make I think I should just make a video about this, like, about, like, just talking about, like, this off-the-radar cheating has gotta stop. Like, this is
Get out of here.
this is just
God,
ridiculous.
get
Like,
good.
I've
Holy
encountered
crap.
I've encountered these off-the-radar cheaters so many times, and these people aren't just going after me because I'm a YouTuber. Like, literally, this is a random session that we joined. So this is a random PvP event that we joined, and we're encountering off-the-radar. Like, can somebody tell me in the comments section, anybody who plays Red Dead Online here, have you guys encountered these also? I can't be the only people who's encountered these off-the-radar cheaters before. Like, have you guys seen these guys before?
I did encounter a god mode guy.
I know it's not gonna
I-
do
I
anything.
did.
I know it's not about doing anything. It's more about putting this on spotlight, about just showing how incompetent Rockstar is.
I'm reporting both, not that it's gonna do anything, but you know.
I'm sorry, Bear, for not getting it fast as I can. I'm sorry.
What the?
It's fine.
I tried. I literally tried.
Well, after he's up, uses TNT.
Trying to go
Whoa.
I'm literally reporting both of these people, and I'm gonna, like,
Bitch.
Yeah, that's right.
cheating.
One shot, bitch. You know, I'm not gonna try to kill him anyway. I know he's gonna kill me instantly. It's getting ridiculous right now.
Guys, when you report Gretchen, and make sure you write in the thing off the radar cheater.
Sorry to interrupt, but watch out. Someone's using incendiary buckshot.
We will consider the information provided when evaluating whether it's a violation of our policies. Yeah, sure you will. Yeah, it's just, okay, let's see. Where's Mars?
Players.
Report. Cheating.
There's Gray Shield and... Alright, what's the second guy?
Whoa.
Besides Gray Shield?
It's Gretchen and Mars. That's who's doing it. Let's get them off of the point. Let's just make sure they don't win. Let's just keep them from winning this. We just don't want them to win it. Oh, great. Mars is in the lead now.
Oh, great. Just great.
Can I not 180 every time I aim? Thank you.
I should have clipped Sniper. And well, good thing I clipped Springfield. Or I should have used Sniper instead. Or shotgun, but it's what it is. It's whatever.
I think someone's using diamond arrows. That killed me very fast.
Yeah, they're probably gonna win this. We can't get them off the point.
They
Dan.
just can't fight properly. They just can't fight properly. And can't use, like, real guns, basically.
What?
Like...
Explosive arrows.
What?
Are you kidding me, man?
What the? Should have hit.
He's not even shooting me or trying me. Like, what the hell?
Come on. Damn, that was dumb. That should have killed him. That should have killed him. 2 shots from Springfield. I'm gonna try to get on the point, and hopefully we can win this still.
Minute left, and we gotta go up like almost 100 points.
Well, when it's near a minute, the points actually go faster.
Oh my god. Of course he would. You just had to use that crap, don't you? Yeah, you can't use real bullets, huh? Like a real man. You're just a little coward off the radar. Including your old boyfriend. How sad.
Imagine being so dog shit.
Man, what a... This...
Hello?
Hey, TJ.
Like, I'm just honestly so sick of this.
Hey guys,
hang on a second.
What's going on? You guys got cheaters in there?
Cheaters, yeah.
Duel?
Yeah, cheaters. As you... Well, not yet.
I wouldn't send a message.
Oh, are they doing that stupid off the radar glitch?
Yep.
They are.
You know what's so sad about that?
I don't expect anything. I'm probably gonna get a toxic message back. But I'll tell you, if he curses me out, I'm just gonna report it to PlayStation, and PlayStation will actually do something about it. So that's
dynamite.
Someone's replaying the stream through their mind.
You know, what is he gonna... No, don't worry about it, Rogan. You know, what is he gonna report me for? What, that I accused him of cheating? Which he did? So it's like, I'm not worried about my message I sent him. Don't worry about that. You know, what is he gonna report me for? For that I told him to stop cheating? So it's just...
I just got a cheat that says eventful. Like, what? I just got a random achievement.
I turn pro down.
What a loser. Scumbag. Stupid cheater. That's just... You know, look at 64 kills and 5 deaths. Like, look at that. And where's Gretchen on here? 59 kills and 4 deaths. Like, seriously, like, these stupid cheaters. And most of the time when they died, they probably died from explosives. That's probably what killed them.
I killed Mars once, so I'm happy about that.
I almost
got Mars
killed
with the
twice.
shotgun.
I almost got him.
2 shots.
Mars, you cry, baby. Always wanting to win.
I'm gonna make a video about this, guys, because this is I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this garbage. I seriously am sick of this garbage.
Yeah, we're all sick.
This is just
you're not the
I just
only
want to play. I want to just chill on Friday. I want to chill on Friday afternoons, play some Red Dead, have some fun, play some PvP events with my friends, not deal with these stupid cheaters. And so I'm gonna make a I'm gonna make a video about this. I'm gonna make a video about these cheaters because this is ridiculous. I'm gonna use this gameplay in my video. But I'm just gonna talk about this in general, just how much of an issue this is, because this has gotten out of control. Guys, when was the last time that we encountered a cheater? That was what, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago? How long was that ago?
Yeah, that was the same event.
Okay, but how long ago was it specifically? It was 2 weeks ago, right? Because I remember there was 1 week.
Yeah, something about 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Alright, hop on there. Hey, you.
We take cheating very seriously.
2 weeks,
Don't
okay.
cheat, or your account get banned.
Hey, I'm just gonna go and I banned him because I'm terrible at this game because I couldn't even get kills with my regular gun because I'm just a little coward and I'm scared against going up like 5 or 8 people in total in the PvP. And I'm just gonna use
Hey Daniel, thank you for the super chat. I'm sorry I didn't read your super chats earlier, guys. I was just getting annoyed with the cheaters in the game. Thank you, Toyota. When's GTA War Stop Drug Deal 100% time consuming? Wait, what do you mean Stop Drug Deal 100% time consuming? What do you mean by that? Chinatown Wars be tomorrow. Thank you, Toyota. Thank you, Keiju. I marvel when I read the "it's only a game" excuse for when people cheat. Cheating at something as trivial as video games exhibits one's immortality, immorality. I'm sorry, immorality. Yes, Keiju. And here's the thing about this, is like, I'll tell you guys something. I don't like to judge people. I don't. But if I'm playing like a game like GTA Online, for example, right? And I see some guy in that GTA Online session, and let's say that some guy is moving crates, right? They're just trying to sell a bunch of crates, and they have like a delivery mission. Let's say they have like 111 crates, right? If somebody goes over and blows up that 111 crates, knowing full well what they're doing, then that tells me that a lot about that person. I'm not trying to judge or anything. That tells me that person intentionally likes ruining the game for people. They intentionally like, causing havoc for other players. They intentionally like angering, pissing off other players, making players unhappy. And it just tells me that they just enjoy other players suffering, generally. Because, you kill other players in games, that's part of the game, sure. But you don't have to just, annoy somebody, just like, bother them so much like that. Like, doing something like that. And so that's, get over to Armadillo here. I had my cargo destroyed so many times that I stopped playing GTA. Well, in the summertime, you can now sell an invite only in friend sessions if you want to come back to GTA, though, AP.
General has won the 24 hours of Le Mans. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, what's happening now?
Oh, I'm just pretending I'm racing with y'all,
Alright. They were just lassoing Brandon.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't do it, so.
I'm just gonna stay away, because I don't feel like dealing with that crap.
Yoda, just parlay. I'll parlay him. I feel your pain, my friends. What the? Seriously? Like, I didn't even do anything to you. Okay, now I'm going after that person. Now I'm They're on a train, guys, but it's just, now the entire posse is probably gonna come after them. I don't think they've realized what they've just done.
Yeah, just let us attack them. I don't care if I die by them. I don't care if they kill me. They just got my attention. That's what they're basically asking for, attention.
Oh, great. I can't... I don't have any horse reviver. I should really stock up on that.
Oh, they're off the train.
Somebody give me... Yeah, I guess go up to them, because I don't have any, Hello, Pro. I watched your first ever top 15 videos. Great. I have a suggestion. Top 5 places and properties players don't visit. Thank you, DHC. I could do something like that. But the thing is, though, DHC, I think that number 1 would be the same number 1 that we had on the last video. Oh, the galaxy lamp is really cool. I do actually have it right here. See? I actually really do like the lamp. It's really cool.
Is that the 2.0 whatever?
Yes.
Oh, that's the same one I bought yesterday.
What rank are these guys?
Rank garbage.
How are they killing you guys?
I was just simply shot from far away.
Finally, Jesus Christ, by aim. Oh.
Okay, it's one guy down from that posse.
Whoa!
What is that audio sound? Sounds like an Atari. Oh, who's behind me?
Good work, Richard. Who was it that shot me off the train?
It's a ribbon. Oh, wait. Oh, okay.
Oh, come on, no.
How'd you Lancaster from that far? Damn.
You can put a scope on the repeaters, that's probably a lot of help.
I have no idea where I'm going.
You guys want to go for the player bounty?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
At least I'll get them off my back.
Let's see, who's the... Oh, final, it's the same guy, too.
Oh.
Wait, oh!
Oh, did you just kill him, General?
Yes, that was my bad, because before you start, I was about to get him, and I didn't realize you were about to start.
Okay, well, we gotta pick him up and deliver him now.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
it's okay, don't worry about it.
Well, he ain't gonna fight back.
I lost 111 crates worth of cargo because of a jet griefer in 2021. I threw the controller across the room when it happened. I don't blame you. I would have been pissed off too. And for me, it's not even about the money, it's about the time wasted. You spend like so many hours collecting crates and all for nothing for just some idiot to blow it up.
I did encounter a jet griefer. Well, I was doing KO. I was in the armor vellum. I forgot that plane called. Yeah, it's this plane while trying to go to KO. He failed miserably.
Who has his body?
General.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just taking it to the prison wagon.
There's delivering. There's no timer on this, so I mean there is a timer, but you just get the $5 right away for it. So it's.
Are you gonna buy a foot long with it?
Maybe. Yeah, guess I'll get me a $5 sub, I guess, from Subway.
I'll probably buy a milkshake with my $5.
Well, it was like somewhere around $5 or something.
You could buy yourself a crumble cookie with it.
Brandon, do you know if we got any more free mode events coming up tonight? Oh, Manhunt, I don't want to do that.
Not really good one, no. The only closest one's the lake fishing challenge.
And when is that?
21 minutes.
We could actually do that. I haven't done fishing in some time. It's more chill than, like, these cheaters. The people that we were fighting before weren't cheaters. They were just, you know, playing fair. But the people that were fighting in that, you know, King of the Castle earlier, those people were cheaters.
What if there's an off-the-radar God mode fish?
Let me ask the chat here, guys. Let me ask the chat. You guys, most of you guys saw what happened, like, you know, 15 minutes ago with, like, the off-the-radar glitchers and cheaters. What do you think should happen to a player like that? Like, let's say that Rockstar actually does something. Like, Rockstar actually takes action. Like, what do you think should happen to a player like that? Should they be warned? Should they be banned for a week? Should they be banned for a month? Or should they be permanently banned? Like, what do you think should happen to a player who does, like, an off-the-radar, you know, glitch like that? Can I help y'all? I'm, CCG. I was kidnapped by the train guys. I'm in your session. Oh, sure. If you have room in the posse, I have to check after this though, because we can't invite during the
Okay, I need not like
temp banned, permanent banned, perma ban. A lot of people are saying, yeah, perma bans, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with permanent ban. I agree.
Yeah, permanent ban, probably a fine.
Honestly, you know what I always wondered? I've always wondered what does like Rockstar actually like they have to have some people in charge of security. Like the people that are in charge of security, like
security.
What security?
Yeah, well, I'm saying security for the game. I'm like, they have to have somebody employed for that, like, you know, for GTA Online and Red Dead. Like, you know, what are the people that work at Rockstar doing? Like, exactly. Like, literally, you report these people for cheating and they do absolutely nothing.
It's Detective Doofy from a Scary Movie.
You guys want to know something? I'll tell you guys something. The reports on GTA Online and on Red Dead Online are completely useless when you report people. They're all for show. And do you know how I know that? Most of you guys are already figured they're useless. But I still do it, just I guess hoping that it does something. But I have proof that it actually does nothing. Because back in the day when I used to stream in public sessions on GTA Online, I would have players that would join my session that would use God mode, and they would use orbital cannon glitches. And what would happen is, we'd have an entire lobby of people report them. So I'd have like 20 of my friends in one lobby. Everyone would report the cheater. Every single person. Like 20 reports at once on a person. And then what would happen is, a few days later, that same person would join back and do God mode on another stream. And we have another 20 people, oftentimes different players, who would report them. And they'd come back like a few sessions and still do that. So you have like 40 reports on like one guy, and they still don't do that. If you have 40 reports on like one player, and Rockstar still hasn't done that, then like, it's like, you know, even a few reports are going to do absolutely nothing at that point. Ooh, this horse, okay, yeah, this...
I've never had a pack of coyotes come attack me like that.
Oh, they do.
It was probably because I was off my horse, but there were like 4 coyotes, 4 or 5, just coming after me.
That sucks.
Well, they didn't touch me. I'm better than them, but
shotgun for the win.
Springfield. That's what I use.
Let me also ask chat. Is there, guys, like a lot of you guys play Red Dead Online too. So like, do you know any way, is there anything you can do to counter those off-the-radar glitchers? Like, the only thing that I found that works for me is explosives or incendiary rounds on the shotgun. That's like the only thing I found that kind of slowed them down. Is there anything you can do to like counter them in this game? You need to show proof the person is cheating. I have video proof. I have literally my entire stream to show that the person was cheating.
When you report them, you can't send files.
Yeah, but no, do you know what I did? I tried to send Rockstar videos. So like I would record videos of cheaters and I would send it to Rockstar support and they would do nothing about it. They would just tell me they would just tell me report through the in-game menu. That's what they would oftentimes tell me.
I'll find you and make you real sorry.
I got so pissed off with him.
Don't like let me just tie him up.
Oh, here's a CCG.
Okay, let me see. Is the posse full right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, posse is full right now. We can't invite CCG until somebody else leaves though. No, I would never stoop to that level. I would never cheat back to fight cheaters. I would never do that. No, I wouldn't do that.
They deserve, their accounts deserve an Avada Kedavra.
What's the game you'll play after Chinatown Wars? I think I'll play Kane and Lynch Dead Men, if anybody knows that game.
I've never heard of it, but I'll come by and watch it.
Never played it, have heard of it.
Yeah, we gotta wait for at least like 5 minutes.
I played Dog Days.
Diver Whippy Kid?
When it's like 5 minutes left, we'll deliver the target. And his horse trips and so much stuff.
TJ's mic sounds like a purring cat or an Atari. I don't know. Some buzzing. I don't know what that was.
It's white noise.
It's Sepalai.
The wagon.
I fixed it. It wasn't me. I didn't know. I just fixed it. I just didn't choose it.
What? I swear my name's there. What?
Oh, your mic, TJ. It's giving out white noise.
Yeah, I'm saying it was me.
No, it wasn't you. I muted everyone, and it was TJ.
Oh.
Am I the only person who sees the wagon floating?
Bruh, I just heard gunshot. I thought I could have sworn. I thought someone was about to attack us for a second.
No, I'm looking at the wagon. It's floating.
Oh yeah, wagon's floating for me too.
Wait. Oh. Oh, I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that. Oh, I just did a spell on it. I just did.
Me too.
Yeah.
Levioso.
Wingardium Leviosa. Yeah, that was because I'm the master of wizards. I should play myself that. I'm not sure.
They should add wands in this game.
Can you imagine that?
No, I think I have a heart attack.
No, I think I read your super chat, Dark Soul. You talked about the report systems need a revamp. I did read that. I said it. I said I agree that they need to be changed.
Avada Kedavra.
You're an idiot.
Expectant patrol.
No, I didn't see that yet, Isaiah, but I'll look into that.
Look what I can do.
Oh.
What?
Oh, you were doing something? I was like, oh, magic. I think.
Yeah, I know, it's magic.
Wow. Jeez. Okay, I am very paranoid. Like, why am I paranoid?
The report system is as useless as YouTube's copyright appeal system. Yep, you're right on that. Oh yeah, Vice City Stories and Liberty City Stories deserve a they deserve a definitive edition, a good definitive edition, that is. Not a bad one, but a good one.
Magical wagon. I wonder where it will take me. I bet Hogwarts again because I want to go again.
And like, awesome one. Like, is a definitive edition.
No, actually no. Red Dead Redemption 2 expansion hand. I cannot pronounce it right.
But maybe good.
Michael, you're getting cut off.
Oh, sorry.
Wagon's like glitching out here.
Oh, bro, that was me. I just did a spell on it.
Is CCG still there in the chat?
We're at, yes, CCG, we're here in Rio Bravo. We just can't invite you right now because our posse's full, so there's really no way for us to invite you right now until someone leaves.
Once this bounty's over, I'll probably hop off of Red Dead for a bit, and
okay.
he can take my spot. Yeah. So I'm reserving a spot for him, if he's still here in the chat.
Thanks for this stupid freaking charger.
So, bro, that Lego set I bought is the card that I really like. It's my favorite sports card.
Or GT is bait.
Or GT is what?
Is base.
Base?
Funny.
Base.
No, Darth, Yoda, whoever, smacked the horse in the flank and it kicked them.
Yeah, that will happen. I only smack my horse when it pisses me off.
I'll do it to this one. No, never mind. I'll do it to mine.
Okay, when is that 3 minutes will deliver? Hey guys, what did I miss? How long have you been gone, Mr. Waifu? If you've been gone for more than 30 minutes, you missed a bunch of cheaters that we encountered earlier.
Oh, Bear, I just waved back to you, by the way.
Ouch.
Yeet. Imagine my wand can like throw like explosives like my wand can do that.
I wouldn't mind that DL gaming. Oh, that was with Johnny Knoxville, right? I saw some of those when I was younger, but don't really watch them. Thank you, George. We need Stroke the Rabbit the Definitive Edition. Gaming. It would be truly mankind's greatest achievement. Well, thank you, George. Is your profile picture from South Park? It's not really. It's South Park themed, but it's not from South Park.
I thought it was for a while, and I realized that it was like customized.
No, I think it's Ace Attorney. At least that's what I think.
I don't really know much about it, Ian. Oh, let's just deliver the target. Oh, congratulations, Mario.
In there.
I think I almost crushed someone.
Money for corpses these days?
That was me. And I killed the horse right when the cutscene played.
Here. You earned it. There you go.
Alright, you get an invite, CCG, to the posse.
Okay, well, it's going into the wagon on my screen. Okay, it looks like it's about to go.
I'm just waiting for my screen to not be this way.
Oh, is it stuck?
Oh no, it was like.
Oh, Brandon, how long until the fishing thing?
There we go.
7.
7 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, look at my horse.
Oh my god.
Alright, there you guys go. Have fun. I'll be back in a bit. Or a while, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, there you go. CCG, you're invited. I agree with what you said about the SMG Mark II for FMG rounds, but an AP pistol Mark II will be a good addition for those who mostly drive cars like me. Yeah, but AP pistol's already one of the best guns in the game. Thank you, DL Gaming. Okay, I'm gonna go check on my Moonshine business right now. I'm gonna just transport everyone inside the business too.
Oh, Pro, I also got Moonshine ready, just so you know.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, didn't mean to shoot the horse. Not what I meant to do.
Someone follow my dead body, I see.
How much of my audience is from South Asia? Well, a good amount of my audience is from South Asia. I know I have a lot of people from India that watch me. I know that I've had from Southeast Asia. I know I've had a few viewers from Vietnam, and I've had people that watch me in Malaysia, Indonesia. I've seen comments from before. Oh, and I remember I had a guy from Bangladesh that watched me also in the past, so it's
Very good. This will be a strong one. À la prochaine. So, what shall we create? Yes, this will work. Now we give it time.
Oh, hey, Pro, can you send me an invite? I think you forgot to send me an invite.
who needs help selling the Moonshine?
I do.
Who's I?
General.
Okay, General, invite us to the Posse. Invite CCG also. We're gonna help you with the your Moonshine sale really quick. Just you have to be really fast because we got like 6 minutes.
Alright, sure thing.
It's 4 minutes now.
It's 4 minutes. Then we'll just, if it's just 4 minutes, then we'll just wait it out. Okay. Yeah, we won't make it in that time anyways. Okay, everyone just rejoin my Posse. We'll just wait the 4 minutes then. I am from South Asia. We can't donate from our region, sadly. Don't worry about that, W Fan King. Don't feel like you have to donate to me to support me. You don't have to donate to support me. I never ask for donations, but I always appreciate any donations that people give me. There's a lot of YouTubers that are really scummy where they ask for donations. I never do that. You know, if you can't donate, don't worry about it. You don't have to donate. Don't feel like you have to talk to me. Don't feel like I'll still read your comment regardless. And yeah, so it's you know, don't feel bad about that. You know, you know, you still support me by watching my videos, and if you drop a like on my videos, that helps support me a lot too. So that's
what's the event called again? The fishing?
Yeah, it's fishing.
Oh, okay. Alright, I'm down for that. Sounds fun.
Cool.
At least I want to be able to count cheaters, you know? Oh, Pro, want to see my Lego collection later on?
Yeah, well, just 1 second here. I'm just...
Yeah, I'll show you later.
There's a collectible in here.
I made like nearly like 2,000 from collectibles.
And collectible beyond the house.
I'm trying to... You said there's another collectible behind the house?
Yeah, over here.
The big one?
Just a coin. Use a metal detector.
Okay, here it is. Whoa.
What the?
What the heck just happened?
Someone accidentally killed themselves.
Do you like hamburgers? Sure.
Hamburger.
Just wanted to say I appreciate all the effort you put into YouTube. I really enjoy your GTA videos. Thank you, AN.
Hey, Pro, whenever I wasn't in a mood or something, I just like watch your videos.
Sounds something fun.
Okay.
Relax. Like, it helps, like, from, like, stress and depression.
Why is there a grass on top of this roof?
Well, I'm glad my videos helped you out.
And wanna know how I discover your channel?
How's that?
So, one of your videos just pop on my recommend, the one that says, so the first video I saw is, like, the one you got DDoS, like, back then, like, years ago.
Oh yeah, that one. That happened nearly, you know, how long? That was 2017, so that was nearly 6 years ago when that happened. I remember when that happened too.
Hey, I know you're furious in that video.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed. Will I live in North Korea for 1 week for $1 million? No, I wouldn't, Ian.
Yeah, no, thank you, as well.
Screw that, I'm not sure.
Are you the food guy? You're talking about that review bra guy? No, that guy's my cousin. No, I'm joking, he's not my cousin. But a lot of people think that we're related to each other. Like, you're not the first person that said that to me. Like, a lot of people actually say that, that I sound just like Review Bra.
Crayfish? So I gotta...
Yeah, hey Pat, so back in the day when you were making like that, when you made that one video about you got DDoS and stuff, I noticed that back then you were using a little bit more bad words back then, but nowadays I know you don't.
I stopped cursing. I actually don't curse really in real life, you know, much. Very little. I just didn't think it sounded professional of me to be like, you know, a YouTuber with like, you know, this many subs and just to drop in F-bombs. And so that's just why I haven't done cursing. You know, people think that it's mostly due to the YouTube monetization. That's part of it, sure. But the main reason I don't curse anymore is because I just don't think it's that professional to do. So that's mainly the reason.
And you want to be as polite as possible too, is what it is.
I'm trying to find the bigger fish, but I don't...
Oh shit.
Come on. Yeah, I think that crayfish is not working.
I wish that you could run with the fishing rod.
I do go fishing in real life, like occasionally. A lot. And believe it or not, I did caught a huge catfish.
What do you think of those things? Those catfish? Oh crap.
Well, they're pretty cool.
Hey, Pro, good day. Do you like getting tips on Chinatown Wars? Sure. I'm new to the game, so I don't know everything in it. Thank you. Chinatown Wars tip. Each dealer from a gang has a primary supply and preferred business. The Mafia have coke, Yardies have weed, Triads have heroin, and so on. Oh, okay, DL Gaming. Hey, Pro, I got a cold fever and sore throat, and I accidentally deleted you. Can you add me after the stream later? My PSN is lovely, Mela 8. Well, thank you for the super chat, lovely. I think I sent you a friend request earlier, though. Check if you have it. And yes, I know about that, George. That Sonny Furley's voice actor passed away, and that was really sad.
He did a really good job playing as that character.
Yep.
That was my money, Tommy. My money. Calm down.
Why are the big fish, like the really big ones, not spawning anymore? I used to see those. Oh, come on, no.
If I could be a crime boss, I'll be the chillest one. That I'll never like start beef for no reason. Only if I don't have a choice. I have those policies like not kill innocent people.
Okay, let's see here.
And like no drug policy too as well. I have got nothing. Like, what the heck?
Same.
Salmon.
Salmon? How can we go fishing tomorrow?
Come on.
Well, I gotta renew my fishing license.
I did go fishing when I was like 5, and I threw a fish back in the water, and I think I made my papa all mad.
Hey, do you guys ever eat fish?
Yeah, I eat seafood a lot.
Yeah, I do as well. I also cook catfish.
Yeah, I like sardines. It's really good.
Oh, come on! Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. Like, right when I get the damn fish? Oh my god.
Did you lag out?
My game crashed. Oh my god. I just got the big fish, and it was just... Oh my god. Oh.
Wow. What a horrible timing for that.
Ouch.
Like, I don't know why it still happens. It happens to me several times. And I haven't caught anything yet. Like, I can't even.
I gotta say,
I do Mario.
At least your stream doesn't crash after, you know, application crashing.
Yeah. And that sucked.
That happened to me before, like when my video game like application crashes. Since I stream live from PlayStation, it always ends the stream when stuff like that happens.
Okay, hopefully I'll go right here.
Yeah, I think the game doesn't like me getting fish. Thank you, Buck. I'm glad you enjoyed my Hitman Blood Money. I'll do a playthrough of Hitman Blood Money again one day. Love your passion for GTA and Red Dead Pro. I don't think anyone knows as much as you outside of Rockstar does. Well, thank you, Muff. Yeah, that 50 cent thing, 50 cent GTA 6 thing is so stupid. It really is. It's dumb. And it's like I don't know what, like, you know, these these GTA clickbaiters will jump on anything, like anything, and I guarantee you, like, they probably made 8-minute videos. There's no way it's not 8-minute videos. Like it's got to be over 8 minutes long just for talking about one tweet. Why is that going to be 8 minutes long? But you know, they make it 8 minutes long on purpose. You guys ever notice that? How the clickbait videos are always over 8 minutes long? They're never under 8 minutes long. Do you know why? I'll tell you why as a YouTuber. The reason that they're over 8 minutes long is because when you have a video over 8 minutes, you can put as many ads as you want in it. When you have a video under 8 minutes, you can only put one ad in it. So that's literally why they're all over 8 minutes, just so they can put more ads into it.
Yeah, there's this one YouTuber that I used to be friends with, and he's a clickbaiter. His name is Cheese. And he would make constant GTA 6 clickbait all the time, and I noticed it pops up in my recommendations.
Did you tell him to stop?
Yeah, I did and stuff, but he didn't like that.
Well, I wouldn't hang out with a person like that personally. GTA's going to have you go after the damn skull. Oh yeah, from 50 Cent. Yeah.
I just know it's gonna happen. Like, people will start clickbaiting for that.
One funny thing is though about this Cheese guy though is that he always likes to. He says he puts his videos under 5 minutes and stuff, and he likes to say that he's like, I'm gonna try not to waste as much. I'm gonna try not to waste any of your guys' time. These short to the point videos, that's what they are. But even though they're major clickbait though, that's what it is.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Hella annoying.
Got everyone here, all these NPCs. Let's see if there's anything uneat. Sometimes you can find collectibles on the NPCs, that's why I kill them.
Oh, is one of you still in the event? On. Yeah, I think I'm done.
This one going drunk.
No, these horses just don't want to stop.
Only caught one.
Oh, witness. Okay, no more. Oh, come on, stop horses. Okay, there we go. It's finally stopped. Oh, okay. I can't pull these guys off of it. If they were to bring back a past GTA character, GTA 6, and not ruin it, who would you pick? Phil. Phil from GTA 4. They should bring him back. Phil definitely skipped town afterwards. Can I not? I guess I can't then. Can't loot these guys here.
But I guess there's Phil Cassidy.
Alright, I'm gonna go join back.
Hey Pat, did those GTA 6 50 Cent videos pop up in your recommendations or something too?
No, I just saw articles talking about like 50 Cent something, like some 50 Cent GTA 6 teaser, and I figured it was all nonsense anyway, so it's just...
Yeah.
Wait, what's all this stuff about 50 Cent?
Like 50 Cent is some kind of tweet or something like that. I don't know the thing. They're just talking about GTA 6 repeatedly, and it's just stupid. It's just there's no proof that GTA 6 is coming out or any of that.
Yeah, it's just.
Well, GTA 6 is coming out, but I mean that there's no proof that 50 Cent teased it really.
Yeah, it's just because of a little tweet that you know, 50 Cent made and stuff, and everybody's just going crazy over it. Just like what I said, it's a virus and a you know, a parasite and stuff. It spreads really fast.
Who is the best GTA 3D and HD voice actor for you? Thank you, Jonathan. Best 3D and HD voice actor. The best voice actor in the HD world would have to be, was it Michael Hollick, the guy who did Nico? And what is that I keep hearing? What? Okay. Well, it will be Nico's voice actor in the HD universe. In the 3D universe, who's the best voice actor? Young Melee, or if I'm saying his name right, the guy who did
Melee, yeah.
The guy who did CJ, the best voice actor in the 3D universe. Thank you, Jonathan.
It's a shame a lot of the great GTA voice actors are no longer there because of Rockstar not paying them properly.
You know that a lot of the GTA voice actors have a problem with Rockstar. Michael Hollick does. Michael Hollick did. Michael Hollick does. Ray Liotta did. It's Young Melee also from San Andreas. He has a problem with Rockstar. And what's it called? What's Burt Reynolds, who did Avery Carrington? He had a problem with Rockstar too. And Rockstar supposedly killed off Avery Carrington in Liberty City Stories because of a dispute with Burt Reynolds. That's why Avery Carrington doesn't say anything in Liberty City Stories, because they yeah. So that was Who's more dangerous, Claude or Nico? Claude, definitely, because Claude has no limits. Nico has limits. Who needed help selling their moonshine, by the way?
I do. Me, General.
General.
But who do you think?
Okay.
Who do you think will win in a fight, though? Probably Nico, though, since he's military trained.
Okay, I will invite me to the Posse, General. Invite everyone else. We'll help you with that right now.
Sure thing. Just give me 1 minute.
I don't know if Dorian Messick had any problem with Rockstar. Well, do you know what they what they should have done when they did the Vice City Definitive Edition? What they should have done is they should have done the exact same scene in Vice City, but they should have changed Vic Vance's character model. Like, his character model should have been changed to Vic Vance. Like, it makes no sense in 2 years that he would look so vastly different than he does. So his character model in Vice City Definitive Edition should have been the same character model he had in Vice City Stories. It's only 2 years afterwards. And they should have had Dorian Messick, the guy who played as Vic Vance, they should have had him come back and do that final line with Vic. That's what they should have had. So that was,
Alright, who else I need to invite to? Alright, I invited. So I just already invited.
I liked how Vice City Stories felt like San Andreas.
Yeah, I like Vice City. And my posse should be open.
Well, Huang seems to be a very sarcastic character. He has a lot of sarcastic comments.
Chinatown Wars gives me Sleeping Dogs vibes a lot.
Teleport us into the I'm sorry, teleport us into your moonshine business.
What's his posse underneath?
The posse, Floridian Outlaws.
Yeah, George. Can you invite CCG also to your posse?
Sure. Yeah, I just sent an invite this possible. Alright.
I can't join. It's too soon. I need to invite.
Alright, hold on.
Ah, what you fuck about?
Hey, CJ, if you're in a Posse, just leave so I can invite you. Alright, it's not letting me for some reason just post to that later.
Oh, Tony did the voice of the ammunition clerk in what, San Andreas? Star Wars or Star Trek? Star Wars.
Where's CCGI?
Did you invite everyone to the Posse who was in it last time?
Yeah, and it's not letting me to invite more than 4. It says I gotta increase the camp size.
Yeah, just spawn a larger camp and you can invite everyone else.
Alright. Large camp. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. And I couldn't find CCGI. Wait, hold on. Oh, there he is. Okay, there we go.
Kill my horse, I'll kill yours.
Okay, Brandon.
Alright, Brandon, here you go.
Yeah, and that was the thing about that. Do you know that's the guy who played as Ralph in The Sopranos? Do you know why he said he was embarrassed for his role in GTA 3 was stupid? It was because he said that he played as a gangster and his kids, you know, play games and that he's gonna look bad in front of his kids and something like that, which is just so stupid. Because the thing is though, is he played Luigi in GTA 3, but then he played Ralph Cifaretto in The Sopranos, and Ralph Cifaretto was much worse than Luigi was. So he played a gangster in like a movie, but he thinks playing a gangster in a game is wrong. So playing a gangster in a TV show is right, okay, but playing a gangster in a game is wrong. So I thought that was stupid. Do you know the YouTuber Artur Rehi? He's from Estonia. Yes, yeah. I've seen him before. Wasn't he like the Estonian military veteran? I think I've seen his videos before. Hey, Pro, what ability cards do you run in Red Dead Online? Is there any recommend? Yes, I run... Thank you, Moff. I run mostly a damage build. That's what I run. And my damage build, when I'm not fighting cheaters, actually works pretty well for me. So, I have here Focus Fire. Focus Fire, that when I had this activated, me and my Posse do a lot more damage. And then I have Winning Streak. Winning Streak, each consecutive shot does... each consecutive shot on the same target does much more damage than the last. And then Necessity Breeds, as I get closer to death, I start to do more damage. And my hat will block one headshot, so that's typically what I use. Killer captured a target? What is this?
Oh, I didn't mean to activate. I was trying to pass through to get to my camp, and I'm trying to pass through. That's not what I have in mind. Yeah, that should have like allowed me to have options to start it or not.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that ice. My Friday's been good. How are you, Nove? What are your thoughts about gangsters who do YouTube, like Michael Franchise and Sammy the Bull? Well, I don't know who Sammy the Bull is, but I know who Michael Franchise is, Jonathan. Michael Franchise, I think his videos do more good because he gives an explanation of what the Mafia is. He talks about the horror of the Mafia, too. So, like, you know, you have these dumb kids who say they want to be, like, part of a gang or, like, join the Mafia. I think that, like, when these former, like, you know, gangsters have, like, YouTube channels in which they talk about, like, the life of crime, I think that generally, like, you know, when you hear about the horrible things that happen, I think that dissuades a lot of the younger people from getting involved in that. So I think that's good. The thing I'll say about Michael Franchise though is one of his videos I seen once where he's you know, Michael Franchise is a very, I would say, kind of straightforward guy. He doesn't tend to really lie. You don't really get that feeling from him that he's lying or he's hiding something from you. But I did see one YouTube video where Michael Franchise, he was playing Never Have I Never, I think, and when he was asked if he's ever killed somebody, he didn't want to give a direct answer on that. It was like you know, it's a yes or no question, but he didn't want to give a direct, like, you know, reply to that. So, you know, so that tells me, you know, he's not a liar, but he doesn't want to answer the question directly too. But to be fair to Michael Franchise, you know, if he did kill somebody, he probably killed another gangster. That's probably who he killed. So he probably killed, like, another, you know, another gangster, possibly. But yeah, that's, I know he like, reviews the Mafia games and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've actually seen these videos and stuff where it's called Hitman or something reacts to.
Oh, I've seen that one. Real life Hitman reacts to Hitman the game and stuff like that, and he talks about what's realistic and what's unrealistic. And that guy, you know, people are asking how is that guy not in prison? He served his time. So he's, you know, that guy's been out of prison for some time. There's probably a lot of murders that he did that the police never got him on. That's probably what happened. But he did serve time for some time. He's not a hitman anymore. But that guy was, yeah.
Yeah, Gameology.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about, I forgot who was the name of the hitman. What was his name? The hitman who played Hitman. I forget the guy's name. He was a big guy. Like, he was very big. Like, he was a massive guy. But he, what was it? You know, and I'm not saying that it's right by any means. But, like, you know, those guys, like, you know, when they kill somebody, typically it's like another criminal. So typically it's like another gangster, like another bad guy that they typically kill. You know, guys like that don't typically kill innocent people. Sometimes it happens. But typically when they kill somebody, it's typically like another gangster. And so that's why, you know, that...
Yeah, speaking of Hitman, my most favorite Hitman game was Absolution.
No, not the Iceman. There's a real life Hitman who played Hitman, the game Hitman. I'm not joking on this. Go on YouTube and look up Hitman Reviews Hitman. That's like a video of that. It's like a real life Hitman who was in prison for like some time. He got out and he was like reviewing Hitman and talking about it. John Alti, okay. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, like, real life hitmen, it's not like you see in like video games or movies. It's nothing like that. Like, people like look at a game like Hitman and they see like all these crazy ridiculous kills and they see like, you know, the poison and like, you know, stuff like that. that doesn't really happen in real life. I mean, to some extent, sure, but do you know what the most common hitman death in real life is? You know what the most common way hitmen kill people is? The most common way they kill people is they'll use a revolver, typically like a 38, and they'll just go up behind the person and they'll shoot them in the back of the head twice. That is the most common hitman kill. Is like they go up behind somebody, shoot them twice in the back of the head. That's the most common hitman execution. And so it's not like the movies where you see where like they strangle somebody or something like that. I mean, sure, it happens, but it's the most common one. They shoot them twice in the back of the head. That's literally the most common, like, you know, hitman kill. And the thing about this is hitmen will kill people in public. That's the thing. That's what a lot of people don't get. Is hitmen will kill people in public. Like, today it's a lot harder because there's video cameras out there, but like, you know, back in the 90s and the 80s, like, Mafia hitmen would kill somebody in broad daylight. That's typically what happens. So, like, you know, you had a gangster that was sitting eating in a restaurant, hitman would come up behind him in the restaurant to shoot him twice in the back of the head, and when the hitman wouldn't even wear a mask. What would happen is the second he shoots the gun, everybody just jumps on the floor, and then the hitman just walks out. That's typically what would happen. So that was the most common, like, you know, hitman executions. Not like the movies that you see where they, you know, do all these crazy, ridiculous, like, you know, kills.
Yeah. I always thought, like, they'll, like, not do it in public or somewhere like very quiet or like.
I mean, there are assassins, there are hitmen out there that will make somebody disappear. They'll kill them, and like the body will never be found. That does happen, but like the most common like hitman execution is just 2 shots to the back of the head. That's typically what happens. Would the Mafia tamper with jurors? Oh, of course, they have in the past.
I'll tell my Moonshine now about y'all. And hopefully I don't bump into it in a red mark area again. I hate it gets in the way.
I've seen a video on YouTube called Ex-Mob Boss Reacts to Yakuza, Zero. Oh. You know something? Do you know what one of the craziest YouTube crime videos that I've ever seen was? I saw there's this Japanese guy that I'm subscribed to on YouTube. I think he's called The Dark Side of Japan. And basically this guy got a bunch of Yakuza members arrested in real life. So like it was all real, nothing was fake. Basically, so what happened was his friend got scammed by the Yakuza. The Yakuza are the Japanese Mafia. And so he, basically what the scam is, the Yakuza scam that they do, is it was in Kabuchiko, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's like, the Kabuchiko is like the red light district in like Tokyo. It's like a more dangerous neighborhood where the Yakuza have a heavy presence in. And so what basically the Yakuza scam that they pull on the streets is the Yakuza will look for people on the streets and they'll say to them, hey, do you want a cheap drink? We have a bar right around the corner. It's like really cheap and stuff like that. And what will happen is the people will go to the bar and they'll drink, they'll have a few drinks, and then afterwards the Yakuza will like charge some ridiculous price, like it'll be like $500 or $1,000 or something like that for like a bunch of drinks, and they'll basically threaten you.
Wow.
And so these bars are off the grid bars, so they're bars that aren't really available to the public, just like in some back room and stuff like that. So it looks like a bar. They'll have you go in and they'll have you drink a few drinks, and then they'll tell you like they'll charge you $500,000. That's basically the Yakuza scam. And so this Japanese guy, his friend got scammed by that, and he went to go stop the scam. So he walked around Kabuchiko until one of the Yakuza members approaches him. The guy has a hidden camera on, so you can see the Yakuza member approach him, and he tells him, oh, we got a bar around the corner, and he goes to the bar, and he records the whole thing on his hidden camera, and he's talking to the waitress. The waitress is also in on it, so the bartender, she's in on the Yakuza scam. And so what happens is he tells her, you know, how much for these drinks or whatever, and she says to him, I think it's going to be like you know, this much or something like that. And he's like, you think? He's like, I'm not gonna have a drink if you're not gonna tell me the exact price. Like, give me a menu or something like that. And she's like, oh no, this is our price. Okay, this is our final price. And so she says that on camera. This is our final price for the drinks. And so then what happens is he has a bunch of the drinks. The Yakuza member comes in and tells him like, you owe hundreds of dollars now, even though he had like just 2 drinks. And he tells him, no, you told me that this was the price you told me. And then the bartender lady who was part of the Yakuza scam, she says, no, I never told you that. But he had the whole thing on camera. And he says, I'm not paying it. And then he says, the Yakuza guy starts threatening him and says to him, do you want to get beat up? And then he says, no, I want to pay a fair price. And so what happens at that point is he says, I'm going to call the police. And the Yakuza guy says, go ahead, call the police. They will do nothing. That's what the Yakuza guy says to him. So what the guy does at that point, he goes a few blocks away. He goes to the police station in Kabuchiko. The Yakuza guy's following him. This is all on camera. And so, basically, the police are aware of this scam, and the Japanese police, I don't know why, they really don't tend to do much about this scam. They don't tend to bust these scams a lot. The Japanese police, oftentimes when somebody gets scammed by the Yakuza bars, the Japanese police, they will typically say this is a private matter between you and the business. It's not for the police to interfere. But this was different, because the guy went to the police station, and the Japanese police told him, this is a private matter, this is between you and the bar. And what happened is, the Yakuza member is like, haha, you see, they're not going to do anything. And then the guy says, but I have the whole thing on camera. They told me the real price. And then at that point, the Yakuza guy just loses his crap. Like, he goes crazy. He's like, you filmed in my bar without my permission? He was like, and then when he plays the video to the cops, he shows the Japanese cops the video. The Yakuza guy says, no, she was lying. She doesn't have the authority to tell the price of the drinks. And so the Yakuza guy was like freaking out, and then the police ended up arresting the Yakuza gangster and the bartender. So like he basically busted like a whole Yakuza thing, scam. But that was also really dangerous what he did, because the Yakuza, they're very unpredictable, and you know they could, like, I wouldn't say they're as dangerous as the Italian Mafia, but they're you mess with them, they could kill you. So that's that's it. But that guy anybody that wants to see the video that I'm talking about, look up this YouTube channel called The Dark Side of Japan. And so there's the guy, like, when he stops the Yakuza scam, it was just all on camera, and he had them arrested. So basically, they fell for the whole thing, and they deserve to get arrested. He was really brave. Like, he was really brave for, for doing that. But I was just so happy when the scumbag got arrested and the bartender got arrested. I was very happy by that. So that was
Damn. I didn't expect that. I'm gonna check it out later.
Did you know you can find Johnny Klebitz alive and well in Los Santos? Will you be me and Johnny's friend, pro? Wait, what do you mean, Sanchez? What are you talking about? Thank you for the super chat.
What?
A fun idea I had for Mafia, a fun idea I had for Mafia in my fanfic series. The Don and the Underboss are named after Mario and Luigi, obviously different than the Mario brothers. Oh, that's a funny little twisty old gaming. I'll tell you guys what the name of the video is. Hold on one second. I'll tell you what the name of the video is for anybody who wants to watch that video I was just talking about. Let me see here. Let's see. Okay, this is the Dark Side of Japan Yuki. So this is what the name of it is. It's called I battled a Yakuza I battled Yakuza at a Yakuza ripoff bar in it's in Shinjuku, Tokyo, Kabuchiko. That was the that was it. So that's the video. It's like an 8-minute video where he so he basically busted an entire like Yakuza bar. Yes, that's the name of the video. I battled the Yakuza bar if you want to watch it. Oh, Johnny Klebitz is your online character, huh? Congratulations on your sponsorship. Thank you, Nov. Thanks, man. Yeah, I remember that line, Mario. Yeah, and that was when I couldn't stand Marty. I mean, Marty's a scumbag, Marty's a racist, you know, he's a sexist, he's a wife beater. Like, Marty is like one of the most hated characters in Vice City stories. Like, he was just a, he's just, one of the most hated GTA characters of all time.
How about Marty Chonks?
That's the guy who ran the meatpacking plant in GTA 3, right? The dog food factory. Yes, I remember him.
He runs away really funny. He puts his arms in the air and runs away like a weirdo.
Yes, I did hear about that also, Mario. I think the police chief in Chicago also resigned. You can go a little bit faster. You don't have to worry about breaking the bottles. Just don't go fast over the train tracks. But other than that, you can, you know, you can go faster than this. You don't have to go this slow.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to speed up on a while. Alright.
Just fell off there.
Obey.
Who is that, Mario?
Bro, I'm pretty sure I did show you my horse's name.
Okay. I think I'll probably join a poker match, play a little bit of that here now. Do Saint-Denis.
Saint-Denis.
Imagine if Phil found out what Marty tried to do with his sister. Yeah. You know, I would have to say, out of out of all the GTA characters that you can possibly think of, I think that literally when Vic saved Luis from Marty, I think that's like the most heroic thing a GTA character's ever done. Like there are some heroic things the GTA characters have done, like when Nico saves Roman and stuff like that. But that was his cousin. You know, Luis was mostly like a stranger to him. So you know, that was Vic went out of his way to save somebody that had no attachment to him, and so that was like I think that was like one of the most heroic things a GTA character's ever done.
What about the most heroic thing a Red Dead character's ever done?
Arthur, the most heroic thing Arthur did was probably when he would stay with John, at the end.
Yep.
Okay, let me go into, I'm gonna go into game chat here, Oh, I'm playing poker now, though, Hesh, I'll tell you guys something. I talk to a lot of Chicagoans. Here in the Midwest, there's a lot of Chicagoans in my state. I'm not in Illinois, by the way, but a lot of, like, Chicagoans have, like, moved to my state in the Midwest. And so, like, whenever they did talk about the mayor in Chicago, everyone has a negative opinion. I don't know one person from Chicago that actually liked the mayor in Chicago. I'm not trying to get into politics here, but I'm saying I talk to people both on the left and the right from Chicago, and all of them don't like the mayor. Like, there's not one person that I know that liked the mayor in Chicago. You know, she caused a lot of mess in Chicago. She was just, like, some really stupid policies. I'm currently doing an anime project, the Soviet Union in an alternate timeline, Cold War 2.0, but the Soviets versus Japan in the year 2035. Oh, well, let me know how that project goes. I always do like watching, like, you know, anime of, like, you know, modern stuff. I don't really like the magic or stuff like that. Okay, Mario. But guys, do you know what the mayor of Chicago proposed to do you know what she proposed to deal with gang violence? Like, I'm not even joking on this. She proposed suing gangs. So she's like, wait, let's sue gangs. That's what we're gonna. Oh yeah, because the gangs are gonna still appear in court when you sue them. Yeah, that's the solution. That is really it. And also, the mayor of Chicago. Do you know what the most the stupidest thing that I've ever heard her say? The dumbest thing ever. what happened is, like, a bunch of businesses were getting robbed by gangs. So, like, businesses and street vendors. Like, if you were a street vendor that carried cash, you have the highest chances of getting robbed in Chicago. So, like, if you own a hot dog stand or something like that, like, you're just selling stuff on the street in Chicago, you have the highest chance of getting robbed of anyone because you're on the because you're on the streets. So basically, it makes it easier for criminals to escape. And also because you're carrying a lot of cash typically, and so that's that will make you a prime target. And so when these street vendors complained to the mayor of Chicago, when they told her we're constantly getting robbed, we're losing business, do you know what the mayor's solution to that was? The mayor's solution was, if you don't want to get robbed, stop carrying so much cash. That was the mayor's solution. So she told businesses, if you don't want to get robbed, stop carrying so much cash. That's literally what the mayor of Chicago actually said. I'm not joking. Look this up. Look it up. Mayor of Chicago, businesses shouldn't carry cash. That's literally what she said. Let me go to a poker table. Do you know what my solution would be to the do you know what my solution would be in Chicago to deal with the gangs robbing, like, the places? Well, for people wondering, I finished, bachelor's degree in law enforcement technology. That's what I would have done. That's what I finished in. I was originally going to go in law enforcement one day, but decided not to, did YouTube instead. But if I was like, what is this guy's doing here now? Come on, dude. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here's what I would do if I was able to do whatever I wanted in Chicago, right? Like, to fix the mess, like the gangs and stuff like that. Basically, what I would do is I would apply the broken windows theory to neighborhoods. I would look at the neighborhoods that have the most gang activity in them, and I would apply the broken windows theory. The broken windows theory is basically matchmaking failed. Why we keep doing this? So the broken windows theory is basically the idea. It's the idea that if you have small crimes in a neighborhood and those crimes don't get solved, don't get police attention, those crimes eventually get into bigger crimes. So I'll explain it to you how it works. Let's say that you have graffiti in a neighborhood. You have graffiti. The police don't solve it. The police don't bother dealing with it, who's spraying graffiti around. The graffiti soon turns into vandalism. The police don't investigate that. They don't deal with the vandalism. Then you have more vandalism. Then what you're gonna have at that point is they see there's no graffiti, the vandalism, then eventually it's gonna go to gangs. You're gonna have street gangs. And, or I should say drug dealers. Drug dealers will come in. So you have like a dealer or two that will come in and start selling drugs. The police don't do anything about that with the drug dealers. Do you know what happens at that point? The next step is gangs come into the neighborhood. And the drug dealers are most of the time often backed by gangs. And so then the gangs will start fighting each other over territory to sell drugs. And then once they start selling drugs in the neighborhood, the drugs cause even more crime. Because what the drugs do is people get addicted to drugs, and they're desperate to feed their drug habit, and so they resort to crime. So now the drug addicts are going to start committing more crimes, and then you're going to have skyrocketing burglaries. Burglaries and robberies are going to increase because these drug addicts are breaking into houses to try to get money for their drug habits. So and then these gangs are constantly killing each other for control of the neighborhood. So that's really how a good neighborhood turns bad, is when police don't. It's when the police do not enforce, like, the law. When they don't solve, like, the smaller crimes, they eventually turn to bigger crimes. So how I would do it is every single crime, we deal with it right away. We show that we have a clear police presence in the neighborhood, just so we don't have to, just so that gangs are deterred from trying to do anything in that. And also, I would increase punishments on crimes. That, assaults, robberies, I would severely increase the punishments on these. That, you do something like this, especially if you're a repeat offender, you're going to go to prison for some time. You don't abolish bail, you keep them in jail. So if somebody repeatedly commits crimes, like they repeatedly rob somebody, why is that person getting released from jail? That person should be in jail or prison. Just keep them there. Have them serve a longer sentence. They shouldn't be releasing these people. It's just causing more problems. But I don't know. Cities like Chicago, they release these dangerous people on the streets so much. I don't know why they do that. New York does it as well, where I'm from. So it's stupid. I don't know why they do stuff like that. But all it does is just causes problems. So that's basically what I would do. Is I would encourage I would encourage the broken windows theory. I would increase punishments for these crimes. I would also rely on community policing, because there's also something called community policing. It's not just about enforcement, it's about community policing. Community policing is generally good. What community policing is that you build a relationship with the community. You know, the police get to know the community leaders, they get to know them, they hang out, they have like events where the community can talk to the police, maybe have like a cup of coffee with the cops. That's generally like a good thing, because the community and the police grow closer together, they know each other, they're friends with each other. That's generally a good thing when the police are friends with the community leaders. And so the community leaders, when the community leaders are friends with the cops, they feel like they can trust the cops more, and they can come to the cops with bad things that are happening to them, and they're more likely to report crimes. So that's generally like a good thing too. But so you have to have it. You have to have good relations with the community, but you also have to enforce it. The issue is, do you know what the problem is? The problem is that you have people that want to do only one. You have people that only want to do enforcement, and they don't want to build relations with the community. And then you have people that only want the police to have relations with the community, but they don't want enforcement. The solution is you have to have enforcement, but you also have to have good relations with the community. Increase the penalties for these, gangs. You know, they go to prison for much longer. They're not going to be released on the streets. And another thing I would say is allow vendors to defend themselves. Allow vendors to defend themselves. You know, I personally think a vendor should be able to carry a weapon on them. So a vendor, if you're selling something on the streets, I think that a vendor should be able to carry a weapon, because you're handling a lot of cash and you should be able to protect yourself. And if these criminals know that vendors are able to protect themselves and defend themselves, I think there would also be a lot less crime from that. So allow people to defend themselves, community policing, and, community policing, enforce the broken windows theory, and stricter punishments for criminals. And I think if you did all of those combined together, I think that you'd start to clean up Chicago. The problem is that you have a lot of politicians and district attorneys in Chicago. They're just stupid, and they honestly don't know what they're doing. That's what I would just say about that. So, literally, yeah, that's, there's a lot of people are just, there. Okay, we'll play some poker here.
These cowboys, I'm tired of them riding through the streets.
Saint-Denis never used to be this bad.
So crime is like a snowball rolling down the mountain, basically getting bigger at very time. I would try to think of what's the best example of crime that I would think of. I'm trying to think of like a good example I could give of what crime is, like a comparison of what it would be. Yeah, I don't know what I would think of. You know, maybe basically think of like, you know, I made the snowball example, I would say. Think of like basically like you know, a snowball rolling down a snowy hill, right? And the snowball just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And then eventually turns into a boulder. And then eventually the boulder will turn into an avalanche. And it will just explode. So that's like, you know, that's the thing about crime, is that if you don't get crime under control, it keeps growing and growing and growing, and it'll just Wrong. If you allow vendors to carry, you're going to make them a deadly target, and you don't want that. Once the criminals know that they will use lethal force to get the money. Wanted boy, what are you talking about? Chicago is already one of the most violent cities in America. Chicago, the gangs are constantly shooting each other in Chicago. Do you not... If you're a vendor and you carry a lot of cash, and this is your livelihood, I personally believe you should have the right to carry. That's just my view. Feel free to disagree with me. I know there's people in other countries that don't understand, you know, that too much, but that's just my view personally on it. I'm not trying to insult you or anything, but I personally think if you carry, like, you know, that you should be able to carry, especially if it's your business and your livelihood. So it's the criminal is going to carry regardless. The criminal is going to have a gun regardless. The gang member's not going to... If the gang member knows the vendor doesn't have a gun, that might actually give them more of a reason to rob the person. So that's like a... The solution isn't to restrict people like vendors from being able to carry. The solution is to prosecute the criminals who carry. That's it. Is punish the people who carry severely. That's what it is. That's the solution. I heard about that. Sonny Forelli's voice actor passed away. Thank you, PC. No, I agree with you, CT. Yeah, New York doesn't respect the right to self-defense. I would agree with you on that. It's,
I heard that gang's been roving these parts again.
But do you get what I'm saying here, Wanted Boy? I hope I explained it to you. I wasn't trying to be rude to you. I'm sorry if I was. But that was just, you know, my not even one matching card. I'm folding. Thank you, Bean. Well, the number one factor that drives crime is poverty. A lot of people don't know about that, is that if you help people get out of poverty, if you know, that part is not onto the police. That part is onto the politicians and the government to help people get out of poverty. It's not the police, their job is, you know, to enforce, protect the public, but they can't really do anything about it if people are poor. So that's literally that's on the part of the politicians to help people who are poor. But if you help people get out of poverty, like people aren't poor, they're a lot less likely to commit crimes. If you help people get good jobs, good paying jobs, and a good standards of living, they're much less likely to commit crimes. Like if you look at the neighborhoods in Chicago, like the South Side, for example, where a lot of these crimes happen, very poor, a lot of poverty there. No, I didn't, CP. I live in the Bronx, not in a good area. A lot of the people here are driven to crime and drug dealing because there's barely enough money to go around with all these bills. Yeah, and I agree with you. You know, I agree with you. That is, you know, that's, you know, help those people get out of poverty. It's not right that they're turning to crime, obviously, but you can understand why crime goes up when poverty goes up. There's a reason. Crime and poverty correlate each other. So when you have a lot of poor people, you're going to have a lot more crime. That's going to happen. Is that what Ultor was doing, eliminating poverty? No. Ultor was not eliminating poverty. Ultor was just moving poverty. That's all they were doing. Oh, I got a card here. So, here's the thing. Here's the thing about this. Is that a corporation like Ultor and Saints Row, a corporation like Ultor is not helping people. A lot of people look at, like, Saints Row. They look at what Ultor has done to Saints Row, how they renovated it, how everything's clean now. You don't really see poor people. And they think, oh, Ultor did a good job. Ultor did not do a good job. Do you know what Ultor basically did? Do you know how Saints Row became like that? What happened is, between the events of Saints Row 1 and Saints Row 2, a company like Ultor, and this happens in real life, this exact same thing. A company like Ultor goes into the area. They go into the area like Saints Row, and what they do is they buy up all the property. And since that area is, like, you know, a bad area, there's a lot of poverty, there's gang crime, prices tumble. So when there's a lot of gang crime and it's places is very poor, the prices tumble on it. And so Ultor buys up the land. They buy a ton of the land. And since most of the people in those areas rent, they don't own the land, they rent. So what Ultor does at that point is they increase the rents so much that the average person cannot afford the rent in those areas. And so all the poor people are basically just kicked out. They're basically made homeless. And they're either become homeless or they move to another neighborhood. And so then what Ultor does is they take all the old neighborhood, they completely tear it down, and they build a bunch of condos, they build a bunch of mansions, and they move all the upper middle class and the rich people into that neighborhood. So the poor people that were originally in Saints Row, they're not there anymore. They were just kicked out. So Ultor didn't fix the problem. They just moved poverty from one neighborhood to another. If you fix the issue, Ultor would have fixed the issue if the exact same poor people would have still been living in Saints Row 2, but they weren't. The original inhabitants were all kicked out. All the people that live in Saints Row and Saints Row 2, those are not the original inhabitants of Saints Row. And so this exact same thing happens in real life. You have corporations where they go into, like, poor neighborhoods, they'll buy up a bunch of the land, they'll raise the rents so people can't afford it, and then they'll kick them out, and then they'll destroy the area, they'll rebuild it, or rebuild some fancier condos. It's gentrification. That's pretty much what it is. This is a real life issue. This happens. So this is, but, what I'll say about this, sorry, my cough. What I'll say about this is the solution is there's a bunch of different things. It's like there's people that the problem with finding a solution to crime is that people don't want to look in all the right places. Like there are people who believe in rehabilitation only. But I'll tell you something. I believe in rehabilitation for people that deserve it. I don't believe some people who do heinous crimes, I don't think they deserve forgiveness. I think they should be punished, for the rest of their lives for that person. They shouldn't get out of prison ever for some horrible things that they do. But, you can have a system of, rehabilitation, but you also need to have a system of punishment for to show people that, like, you do something bad, you're gonna get punished for that. So there's people out there where all they want to do is punish. All they want to do is enforce and punish. But they don't want to have community relations. They don't want the police necessarily to build relations with the community, which I'll tell you something, that is essential. You want the police to build relationships with the community. So to basically sum it up, there are some people out there who all they care about is enforcement. They think police should just enforce the law, but they don't look at other things like poverty, for example. They don't think that helping people out of poverty would necessarily fix the problem. But you want to help people out of poverty because when you help people out of poverty, you reduce crime, but you also want enforcement. And then there's people on the other side who they want no enforcement. They want no enforcement, and they instead think the police should be defunded. And those people are also stupid. So you have people on both sides that don't really know what they're doing. So the solution is help people get out of poverty, enforcement, and rehabilitation for people who deserve it. That's pretty much what the solution is. There are also there's another thing that I'll say about this. There are also people out there who they don't believe that criminals should get a second chance. And I personally think that that's wrong. I personally think that it depends on the criminal. Like I said, it depends on what they did. If they committed something like murder, I say, screw it, let them sit in prison for the rest of their life. But if they were part of a gang and they served their time in prison and they're rehabilitated, I don't see why they should not be allowed back into society. I don't see why they shouldn't be given a second chance. If somebody did their time, if they didn't do something horrible like murder, if they did their time in prison, I think they should be given a second chance at life. I don't think, and I want another hand here again, I'm doing good. I don't think that, if somebody makes a bad mistake like that, like associating with a gang, I don't think that should hold them back for the rest of their life, because isn't that technically a form of cancel culture? When somebody commits a crime and then you never give them a chance again and you just basically ruin their life over one stupid mistake they did, that's technically a form of cancel culture also. So that's what I'll say about that. I'm gonna leave here because I want it a lot. So if you look at, for example, what's a heinous crime? A heinous crime would be something like murder, rape, child molestation, like these type of crimes. I don't think these people should be getting out of prison. I think they should stay in prison and be punished. I don't think they deserve forgiveness. But I think there are other people who deserve forgiveness, and I think they deserve a second chance at life. Because, think about it this way. Think about it if you're some kid in the hood. Think about that. You're some kid in the hood. You don't have a lot of opportunity, and you turn to a gang. You turn to a gang to make ends meet. You hang out with the gang. You believe that they're your friends. You don't really have anybody else to associate with, and, you know, you commit a robbery. You do a dumb mistake, you commit a robbery of a gang, you get arrested, you spend a few years in prison. But while you're in prison, you learn, you get better educated, you know, you turn your life around, and then when you get out of prison, you have dreams. You say, I want to start a business one day, or something like that, or I want to turn my life around, I want to do something, I want to be a plumber, or whatever, you know, something along those lines. And, like, I don't see why those people should not be given a second chance at life. There's some people who think that criminals deserve no chances, they think that's all they should be punished, but here's the thing, if you don't give some criminals a second chance, they're going to turn to crime again. That's what's going to happen. The reason that recidivism is so high, that's basically when criminals commit crimes again, is because people don't want to give them a chance. When former criminals, I should say, because they're not really criminals when they get out of prison, so I should say former criminals. When they get out of prison, and they've done their time, when they try to apply to a job, and the job does a background check, they're going to say, oh, this guy served his time in prison, and they're just going to cross him off immediately, and they're not going to hire that person, and then that person can't find a job anywhere, and so they go back to committing crimes in order to, you know, pay their bills. The thing is, though, when companies are hiring people, I can understand why they don't want to hire a criminal, don't get me wrong, I can understand that, but the thing is, though, you should look at a person's entire record, and you should ask the person about that. You should be like, did you serve time in prison, like, what happened, and ask them to tell them their story, like, get to know them, ask them their story, and then like, you know, ask them what they want to accomplish with their life and stuff like that. And there are people who change, people do change, but the problem is there's people out there who don't want to give anybody a chance, and if you're not going to give people a chance, really, isn't that technically a form of cancel culture as well? So I think that's what I personally think about it. I think that, you know, the solution to dealing with crime is like a lot of different things. It's like, you know, don't listen to the stupid people who want to defund the police. They're dumb. That's going to cause a bunch of problems. You know, don't listen to the people who don't want to deal with poverty either. That's also a problem. And also, you know, help people out of poverty, you know, enforce the law, you know, help, you know, former felons, like, find jobs when they're trying to, you know, look for jobs, you know, build relations with the community and the police, and also, you know, help to clean up neighborhoods, enforce the broken windows theory, you know, don't allow a neighborhood to be flipped upside down by gangs. So that's basically it. So, you know, it's a combination of factors when you have, you know, good policing and, you know, good, and, you know, you have true law and order. So there isn't one single thing that, like, does it. Like, you know, I'll tell you guys something, is like, you know, I used to be very libertarian about this, is like I didn't think that the government should, like, necessarily get involved in affairs like this, but, like, when I studied, like, law enforcement in school, I changed my mind on a lot of these things, because I realized that there's, like, a lot of people that, like, they want to turn their life around, and so why should they, like, have their, you know, their whole lives ruined over a dumb mistake they did at one point? They served their time in prison. I think that they should have it. If they commit a crime again, you know, send them to prison, punish the hell out of them. But there are people who, you know, who do change, and they want to, like, you know, get their life back under track, and they shouldn't be held back, you know, over a dumb mistake that they did in their life. So that's, you know, that's personally my thing on it, what I think of it. Let's see, I bet I missed a bunch of get a bunch of, like, comments here. Let's see here. Don't a lot of the criminals come from single-parent homes? I think better parenting would also reduce crime rates. You are absolutely right, Mario. A lot of criminals do not have good childhoods when they're growing up. There's, like, they tend to have abusive parents. They'll have no father or no mother. They'll only have one parent. You know, that is definitely a factor. That definitely contributes to, like, to crime. If you have a very tough upbringing, you're not shown love a lot when you're a child, that is definitely going to harden the person, and it's going to make them a worse human being over time. So that's that definitely contributes to it. So that's also a thing. Hi, Pro. How are you? I'm good, Eric. How are you, man? Pro, I got a 2-year suspended prison sentence when I was 20. I've never reoffended after that. So people can change. Exactly. And I mean, you're proof of that, Mario, that people can change. You know, and it's like I said, I don't believe all criminals deserve forgiveness. I think if you do a horrible crime like murder, like something like murder, I don't think you should ever get out of prison for that. I think they should be in prison for the rest of their lives. They took another human life. But if somebody does something like a robbery, or they sold drugs, as long as they didn't kill anybody, like, you know, as long as the drugs didn't lead to somebody's death, then, like, you know, if they were, like, part of a gang or something like that, then they should, they should get a second chance at life. I generally think that. You know, there are people that make stupid mistakes and do dumb things when they're younger. And so, you know, people look back on themselves, like, they look back on themselves and they're like, man, when I was young, I was so stupid. And so they, I think they generally do they generally do deserve a second chance. What about manslaughter? Manslaughter is a very complicated one because manslaughter could be really anything. It could be a deliberate act or it could be a complete accident. It's different than murder. So I would say it depends on the situation and what happened exactly. What is the most evil corporation you've ever seen? I don't know, really. I don't know. I'd have to really think about that. Most evil corporation I've seen. I don't know any names. I don't know any names right at the top of my head, but I could tell you some of the corporations that gentrify neighborhoods where they kick, like, poor people out of their neighborhoods and they build, like, condos. Those are very evil companies. Companies that do stuff like that. What about homicide? Never. Somebody who commits a murder should never be forgiven. I don't think they should ever be forgiven. I know about that, Muhammad. There's a lot of good jobs that you can do. Seems like you're balanced with your views. You don't pick sides, you pick what's right. Yeah. I generally, like, you know, I don't subscribe to any right or left thing, like, when it comes to policing. I have, like, you know, my own set of views, and my own set of views is a combination of different things. You know, help people out of poverty, enforce the law, you know, let police patrol neighborhoods too, you know, don't restrict the police, because, you know, the biggest problem is, like, you have what, when it comes to policing, you have one side who all they believe in is enforcement. They think it's enforcement and punishment, and they don't believe in any kind of rehabilitation whatsoever, and they don't think that the government should bother, like, helping people out of poverty. And then you have, like, the other side of people who basically they are completely against any kind of police enforcement. They think the police should be defunded. That's stupid also. When that's going to cause a bunch of problems. They pass laws where they release criminals constantly out of jail, people who shouldn't be released out of jail, and then they also don't believe in the right to self-defense, which I personally think that's also stupid. I think that people have a right to defend themselves also. So that's you know, generally, like, you know, you have to compromise. You have to have, like, you know, people come together, and, you know, you have a balance of views, and I think that's, like, a mix of everything. I think together is, like, personally the best solution for this. Do you think some types of music promotes crime? Not really. Not really. I don't think, you know, I'll tell you this, though. If there's some, like, rapper that's, like, singing about crime or something like that, I don't think that's I don't think that causes crime. I don't think there's any evidence of that, because it's no difference than, like, a video game or a movie. Like, you know, if there's, like, a video game where you play as a gangster, or, like, you know, or a movie where he's a gangster, you know, it's all just fiction. It's media, it's music, and no, I don't think that causes, like, crime. I don't think rap music causes crime. That's, no. Okay, what do I think about corrupt cops? Corrupt cops are some of the worst, like, you know, corrupt cops are some of the worst cops out there. You know, oftentimes I think that they're worse than the gangsters. What do you think about racial inequality in the USA? I think that, you know, like, when it comes to policing, I don't deny that there's, like, you know, racist cops out there. There's bad police officers out there, definitely. But the vast majority of police officers are good people. You know, the racist cops, they shouldn't be cops, or they should be in jail or fired, depending on what they did. So it's, you know, the majority of cops are just good people. There's also, like, a lot of people that they throw around, like, a bunch of nonsense statistics. Like, no, there's people out there, for example, that they think certain races commit more crimes than others. That's not true. What I'll say about that is that, you know, for example, like there's people that have this idea. They think that it's kind of racist. There's people that think that all gangs are black when that's not true. There's plenty of gangs that are not black that commit plenty of crimes. But here's the thing about this: when it comes to black gang violence, most of the black gang violence happens in urban centers. It happens in cities. It's like in cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. And so people look at that and they assume, based on that, that most gangs are black. That's what they assume, which is not true. The thing about this is, do you know what most white gangsters, do you know where they commit crimes? In the countryside, in rural places. It's in rural areas. So it's in small towns. White gangsters are more likely to commit crimes outside of big cities, in small towns. And you don't hear about that often in the media. But the white gangsters are mostly outside of cities, where black gangsters are more common inside cities. That's why you tend to hear more about the black gangsters. But a poor white person is just as likely to commit crimes as a poor black person. So I don't know these people telling me that, like, you know, that certain races commit more crimes. No, I don't believe that. I think that, I don't think it's a racial problem. I think it's a poverty issue. I think that if you're poor, regardless of your race, you are more likely to commit crimes. I'm not saying that all poor people are going to commit crimes. What I'm saying is when you have a lot of poor people, they're desperate for money, they're trying to get out of a bad situation, and so they turn to crime. That's basically it. Like, for example, here in the Midwest, where I live, you know, there's really not many cities here in my state. It's a very low populated state. We have mostly like small towns. And do you know who commits the bulk of the crime out here? Do you know who does it? It's bikers. Mostly white bikers and trailer park gangsters. And when I say trailer park gangsters, I'm talking about people like Trevor. Maybe not as crazy as Trevor, but basically like that. Like people who are cooking meth in like trailers. Those are the people in the Midwest who tend to commit the most crimes. The bikers and the trailer park gangsters. And these guys are mostly white who commit these crimes. But you don't really hear much about that in the media. Instead, in the media, you hear about the black gangs. So this is exactly what I'm getting at, is that the black gangs commit crimes in the cities, where the white gangs commit crimes most of the time in rural communities. Some of the white gangs that you might see in cities are like mafias, but typically the white gangs, the poor white gangs, are typically in rural communities. They're in small towns, in farms, farming towns, and stuff like that. And so you'll see it. So that's generally what I say about that. Let me see here. Good point, Pro. Thank you. Yep. Yes, exactly. You know, gangs come from every race, and so it's not a racial issue. Like I said, people keep turning it into a racial issue, but it's not a racial issue. Crime has no race. Crime affects everyone, and so it's like I said. If you want to look at the root cause of crime, look at poverty. That is literally the root cause of it, is poverty. Most of the time it's poverty. I know there are some crimes where it's not poverty, like the Mafia. The Mafia, for example, is rich and they still commit crimes, sure. But I'm talking about the vast majority of crime. I'm talking about like gang crime specifically. Gang crime is specifically from poverty. Let's take a look at let's take a look at like two types of gangs that are both poor. You have like, you might have like a black street gang in like Chicago, and you have like a white trailer park gang in like the Midwest. What similarities do they have between each other? You know, they're in different areas. They're urban and they're rural. But what's the main similarity between them? They're both very poor. The trailer park gangsters are very poor, and the black gang in the city is very poor. That's the similarities between them. That's the main cause of that's how their gangs form. You have a bunch of poor people in one area together. They have no opportunity. They have no opportunity for success in their life. And so they band together and they say, we're going to start committing crimes and start robbing people. That's basically how it happens. That's how gangs form. There's a bunch of poor people that get together and they basically think that they have no opportunity. They think the system is against them, which to an extent, sometimes the system is against them. So there's like, so they form like, that's how gangs basically form. It's like a bunch of poor people that get together and they think they have no opportunity. And they're very poor. They're trying to make money. That's generally how it forms, and it's that's how it starts. How are you turning your screen without using both your hands? Oh, I can play with just one hand. I do that oftentimes. I just play with one hand, so it's not a I train myself to play with one hand in a lot of games oftentimes too, so I can do that no problem. See? See, I can even, like, you know, I can even aim my gun perfectly with just one hand, too. I do that all the time in a lot of games. Are there biker gangs who are the most dangerous? Yeah, I mean, Hell's Angels. But if you look at the biker gangs aren't rich. Biker gangs are oftentimes very poor, too. So that's ultimately what it is. It's a poverty issue. It's poverty, it's not race, and I can't stand people constantly turning it into race. There isn't, like, you know, like I said, like, you know, a really poor white person is just as likely to commit crimes as a really poor black person. So it's ultimately a poverty issue. That's ultimately what it's about. Let's see here. I've seen Hell's Angels before. I've seen them before. Not in my state, but I've seen them in New Jersey. I was in New Jersey, like, you know, years ago. I was eating in a diner with some friends, and we saw a bunch of Hell's Angels come into the diner. They didn't bother anybody, just sat down and ate, but I've seen them before. I haven't played Hogwarts Legacy. I want to play Hogwarts Legacy. I haven't gotten a chance to. What are Hell's Angels? They are the largest outlaw biker gang in America. So basically, crime can be blamed to the politicians for not focusing on poverty. Poverty is the main cause of crime. There's other factors to it. I mean, for example, like even if you eliminated all poverty, you would still have certain gangs, like the Mafia. Like, the Mafia wouldn't go away because of poverty, because the Mafia is already a very rich gang. They're very rich, and so they're going to commit crimes regardless of whether there's poverty or not. But the other, like, the poor, the gangs that you hear most of the time in the TV, the ones that commit the most shootings. Like, you know, for example, like, in Arizona, Arizona is, like, a very dangerous state when it comes to bikers. Like, in Arizona, the bikers are constantly shooting each other. But you don't hear about that in the media oftentimes. In the media, you hear about the gangs in Chicago that are shooting each other, but you don't hear about the bikers. Like, Arizona, there's a lot of bikers, like, outlaw bikers go to war with each other in Arizona, and they're constantly killing each other. So there's, so it's the poverty is the root cause of it. The similarities between the bikers in Arizona and the gangs in Chicago, they're both poor. That's what they have in common. And so that's ultimately the root cause of it. Once you deal with, you know, poverty, you're going to reduce a lot of this crime. So it falls on the politicians and the government to also help people get out of poverty, you know, help make sure that there's opportunity for everyone. But also, you need to have enforcement. You need to enforce the law. You need to. So you need to enforce the law, and you need to have a good professional police force that knows what they're doing. The people who want to defund the police, those people are idiots. I'm not trying to insult anybody, but that's what I honestly think. I think anybody who wants to defund the police, I think they're stupid. And I don't think they realize how much problems that's going to cause. That's going to cause an insane amount of problems, because look, even in countries where people have really high living standards, like there's countries out there that have much higher living standards than America. Like you look at a country like Singapore. The Singaporeans have higher living standards than Americans. You look at a country like Finland. The Finnish have higher living standards than Americans. But do you know what Finland and Singapore still have? They still have the police. Just because they have low crime rates, the reason that Singapore and Finland have very low crime rates is because they have little poverty. There's very little people that are poor, and so because of that, there's going to have a lot less crime. But do you know what Singapore and Finland still have? They still have police. They still have police because they know that even if you eliminate poverty entirely, you're not going to get rid of crime. And if criminals know that there's no cops out there on patrol, they know there's no cops dealing with stuff, they're going to take advantage of that. Criminals oftentimes prey on opportunity. They look at opportunity. They see what's going on, and they see that there's an area that has no cops. They're going to take advantage of that. They definitely will. Yeah, Hell's Angels is like Hell's Angels is an international biker gang. They originated in America, but they're in a lot of different countries. The police in New York City alone has a bigger budget than most of the armies of other countries. Well, here's what I'll tell you about and this is my last thing that I'll say about this is abolishing the police is stupid. Here's what I'll tell you about this. The police budget in New York is not as much as you think it is. Like, it's not as much as you think it is, because New York City has a population of 8 million people. And with a population of 8 million people, you are going to have thousands of cops. You have to have thousands of cops in a population of 8 million people. So you look at the budget of New York and you think, oh, the police in New York are so militarized. They have so much money. But you have to think, how many people are in the city? It's 8 million people. That's how many. So when you take it down on a cost-by-cost basis of each police officer in New York, they're really not making that much money. And they don't have that much of a budget as you think they are. For the amount of people that they have and the amount of people that they're serving, they don't really have the budget that you think they actually do. They don't. And the thing about that is that the mayors in New York are some of the dumbest people ever. The mayors in New York understand nothing about law enforcement. They don't. They're oftentimes stupid. The mayor in New York right now is a little bit more smarter than the last guy. The last guy was really stupid. But the current mayor in New York, I don't even like him also. So it's like, so the last mayor in New York, you know, he literally fired thousands of cops. That was just stupid. And he didn't fire them for necessarily anything bad. He just wanted to reduce the cops' numbers. That was just a stupid thing to do. You have less cops in the streets, you're gonna have more crimes. Having more cops in the streets is always a good thing. That always helps. So that's a dumb thing. Honestly, defunding the police in cities will hurt poor black neighborhoods more than it will help him. Also, yes, you are right on that, Mario. And so defunding the police is gonna hurt these poor neighborhoods. Because what's gonna happen is, here's the thing about this. When gangs commit crimes, like, remember what I told you guys about gangs, is gangs are typically like a group of poor people. That's how they start. It's a group of poor people that get together in like a poor neighborhood like the hood. They get together and they say, you know, we don't have a lot of opportunity. We're gonna work together. We're gonna start committing crimes now. We're gonna rob people for money. That's how gangs typically form. And then they start saying, this is our territory, and another gang will say, this is our territory, and that's how you have disputes and you have wars. But what I'll say about this, do you know who the gangs target most of the time? Do you know who the gangs target? They target other poor people. That's who the gangs target. They target other poor people in those neighborhoods. So that's exactly what I was saying at. So when the politicians in Chicago, they tell people, if you're a street vendor, like you're running a hot dog stand, you know, you're running a hot dog stand, or let's say that you're selling, like, you're selling stuff on the streets. Let's say that you're selling t-shirts or something like that. You're selling bags on the streets, right? You're a legitimate businessman. You're not selling fakes or anything like that. You're selling actual bags in the streets and stuff like that. And if you're like in one of those poor neighborhoods, you know, you can't really afford a store of your own. You're just selling on the street and stuff like that. You're gonna be a massive target for these gangs, because these gangs know that you're gonna be carrying a lot of cash on you and they could jump you. And so when I hear these politicians in Chicago and they say, oh, you don't need a gun to protect yourself or something like that. No, I disagree with that. I think that if you're in that neighborhood, especially if that's your livelihood, and there's gangs that rob people, I don't see why the vendors shouldn't be able to carry. The gangs already carry. But these politicians in Chicago, they don't know what they're talking about. And so that's why I say they defund the police and all that. I think that's personally stupid. Like I said, I'll wrap it up here. I'll say it's a combination of, like, you know, a combination of a lot of things. Like, you have people on one side. Like I said, you have people on one side who they think the police should be defunded completely, and they don't think that anybody should have. They don't think people should have the right to have a gun to protect themselves. And you have people, you know, defund the police. They're against self-defense. They're that's bad. You know, people should have the right to self-defense, and the police shouldn't be defunded. And then you have the same time, you have people who constantly release criminals from jail. That's stupid. But then you have people on the other side politically, who they think the only solution is just enforcement. They don't believe in dealing with the poverty. They don't believe in helping people get out of poverty. They don't believe in helping people, they don't think that government should have really a place in that. And they think enforcement is the only solution. I'm telling you, it's a combination of things. It's enforcement, but it's also helping people get out of poverty. Enforcement and poverty. If you take both of the ideas of both sides together and take away the stupid ideas like the defund the police and you let people defend themselves, if you take the good ideas of both sides and you put them together, you're gonna have a way more effective means of just dealing with crime. So that's what I say. Professional, you're a smart dude. Well, thank you, man. Yes, I'll upload Chinatown Wars tomorrow. And and what the guy was telling me earlier about the New York budget is here's what I'll tell you guys. This is from a law enforcement. What? Why am I being? Why are the cops? Oh, I'm wearing a mask here. here's what I'll tell you guys. That a lot of people don't know about this, and a lot of people don't know this, is that if you guys just let them kill me here because this is getting a bit annoying here. Wow, these cops suck at aiming. Okay, this is GTA Online. They shoot you a million times. They're in GTA Online. They have perfect aim. But what I was saying is that about the police budget, like in New York, in your area, I don't know wherever you guys live. If you guys knew the true amount of cops that patrol your area, especially at night, that would scare you. And what do I mean that would scare you? Because the thing is, the public thinks that there's a lot more police patrolling than there actually is. There's actually a lot less police patrolling than you think there is. And if people knew the true numbers of cops that actually patrol at night, they would get really scared. Because people assume that there's tons of cops patrolling at night, but they don't realize how little that number actually is. And if people actually knew the exact amounts, and you can get robbed anywhere, even in a rich neighborhood. The crime can happen to anyone, anywhere. So just don't think that just because you're in a good neighborhood that crime can't affect you. That's the problem. People have a very naive view of this. And so, like I said, if people knew the exact amount of police that are patrolling at a specific time, they'll be very scared. They'd be like, wow, that little cops are actually on patrol. And why are there so little cops in patrol? The reason there's so many little cops in patrol is because of stupid politicians. You have stupid politicians and stupid prosecutors, stupid district attorneys who constantly cut the police budget. They cut the police budget, they let go of good cops, and they have less police on the streets. They cut cops' salaries. Being a cop is already a dangerous job. And if you're going to cut their salary, you're going to cut their budget, you're going to cut their pay, do you know what that's going to result in? That's going to result in cops resigning. People are going to resign. Cops are basically going to say, screw this. Why do I do this anyways? I'm constantly getting my salary, my pay cut, and I'm risking my life, and so people are going to resign from the police. People are going to do that. I know a lot of police that resign. So that's going to happen. And then you have less cops in the streets, and then criminals know about that. So when people say the police budget in New York is actually so big, I don't think people realize how that the police budget is not as big as you actually think it is. And they want to cut the cops more. They want to defund the police. I'm telling you, defunding the police is a recipe for disaster. But also, not addressing poverty. Not addressing poverty is another recipe for disaster. So help people get out of poverty, but also don't defund the police and let people defend themselves. I generally think that is a combination of those factors. I think would probably be the best solution to dealing with. What do you think of the 5 cops that killed that guy? It was just disgusting what they did. I hope they serve time in prison for that. That was unacceptable. And do you know what surprised me the most about that whole thing? What surprised me the most about that whole thing is that you had 5 cops involved in that. That's what surprised me. And out of those 5 cops, you didn't have one cop that tried to stop it. That's what just surprised me about it. That's not even one of them tried to stop it. That tried to stop the other cops. That's what generally surprised me about that whole thing. And look, most cops are good people. They're not like that. But when cops do horrible things like that, that gives good cops a bad name. And so the media then assumes that all cops are bad people when they're not. Most cops are just good people that want to serve their communities. They're not racist. They're not sexist. They just want to help their community and just help their community become a better place. They're not corrupt. They're not abusers of power. Most cops are good people. The bad cops, the corrupt cops, lock them up and throw away the key. Throw them in prison. Punish the hell out of them. I support punishing the hell out of these corrupt cops. But most cops in the end are good people. And so when I see the media just make it seem like all cops are out to get you, the police generally are not out to get you. They're just good people. They're just trying to uphold the law. That's generally what it's about. And I'm just trying to think of. There's one other point that I wanted to make specifically about this. Yeah, there was a guy. I remember there was a guy who was anti-police. I think this was in Chicago. I could be wrong about this. This is a few years ago. There was a guy who was anti-police, and this guy was part of an organization. I don't want to get into politics, but this guy was part of an organization that wanted to defund the police and wanted the police out of his neighborhood. And so what happened was he kept protesting to the police and saying, we don't want the police in our neighborhood. And you know what happened? The police listened. The police left the neighborhood. They left it. They didn't patrol the neighborhood anymore because the people kept protesting that they didn't want the cops there. Do you know what happened when the cops left the neighborhood? Crime skyrocketed. Gang activity skyrocketed. And that same guy who wanted the police gone, that same community organizer, do you know what happened to him? He got robbed when he walked out of his apartment. The second he opened his door, walking out of his apartment, he got robbed. And then he actually wanted the police back. So that just shows you that there's just you know, do people really think when they want stuff like this, like, you know, defund the police? Generally, like I said, most police are good people. They don't want problems. They're not out to get you. You know, I know there's bad cops out there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not ignorant of that. But most cops are good people. And so, you know, why are you trying to demonize and just trying to make all cops look bad? I would say to, like, people like that guy who, like, wanted the police out of his neighborhood. That's just stupid. And that's just going to cause a bunch of problems. Let me see here. Have you ever seen those vigilantes who wear Batman, Superman outfits and fight crime? Sorry, been on the news. I haven't heard anything about that. That sounds a bit weird, but I haven't heard anything about that. I think one of the reasons other countries have less violent crime is because capital punishment is more prevalent where all but disappeared in the US. No, I don't think the death penalty really has any effect on this. Basically, I'll tell you why. People think that the death penalty, that it's not a deterrent to crime, but it actually can be. Because I'll tell you, I have read a lot of cases, I've seen a lot of cases where criminals that are charged with murder, when they get the death penalty thrown at them, do you know what the criminals oftentimes do? They plead guilty. They plead guilty because they'd rather take life in prison than take the death penalty. And so that happens. Sure, there might be some criminals that prefer the death penalty, but there's a lot of criminals that don't want the death penalty. They'd rather have life in prison than the death penalty. So I personally think it should be up to the family members. I think the family should decide if they want the prosecutor to pursue the death penalty. That's my personal view of the death penalty. I think it should be up to the family to decide, to tell the prosecutor what they want the prosecutor to do. That's generally what I think about that. But I'll tell you something about this is there's a lot of countries that they like to compare themselves to America, and there's a lot of countries that, like, you know, the one thing that I can compare my country, America, to is poverty. That's the one thing that is universal pretty much across the entire world. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. Wherever you have poverty, you are going to have an increase in crime. So when I compare my country to a country like Singapore, where Singapore, they have higher living standards than Americans. You know, they don't have many poor people as Americans, or like a country like Finland, where they don't have as many poor people. That's the reason that they actually, the reason that they actually don't have that much crime, because of poverty. But there are other things that you actually cannot compare America to specifically, like, for example, the prison system. Like, Norway, for example. Norway, let me talk about Norway for a moment. Norway is that country that has those hotel prisons. That's what we call it. We call it here in America. We call them hotel prisons, because that's what we see them as. So Norway has prisons, and you can look this up if you don't believe me. Look up what a Norwegian prison looks like. Norwegian prisons have wooden floors. They're not concrete. They have beds, not chain beds, but actual beds like in a home. They have TVs in their cells. They have a computer in their cell. They have a shower in their cell. They have some of the prisons have swimming pools. Some have tennis courts. They have a library. You know, generally these prisons are very rehabilitating. They're very they're not punishment. They're not punishment style like in America. In America, our prisons are specifically said to be punish style. And I see a lot of Norwegians, and they'll say, oh, you know, the reason we have such little crime is because of our prison system, and the Americans are doing it wrong. Their prison system is bad. No, that's not the reason. Do you know why Norway has such little crime? It's actually not the prison. If you put that exact same prison here in America, I'm telling you, as an American, from my personal perspective, studying a lot of crime, if you put that exact same prison system into America, the exact same prisons that Norway has, those hotel prisons, you are not going to affect crime at all. In fact, crime might actually skyrocket, because criminals know they're not going to be punished as much. The reason that Norway has such little crime isn't because of the hotel prisons. You know why Norway has such low crimes? Two reasons. The first reason is because Norway has little poverty. The Norwegians have higher living standards than Americans. That's true. The average Norwegian has a much higher living standard than the average American. So they have a lot less poor people in their country. That's why Norway has much less crime. It's because there's a lot less poor people. It's not the prisons. It's because there's a lot less poor people. And so there's a lot less gangs and other activity forming. The second reason is geography. The reason that Norway has such low crime. Norway, I think the entire country of Norway has like, what, 8 million people? It's something like that. It's not a lot. Where America, you have like 330 million people. Now, Norway does not have a lot of urban centers. They typically have small towns and stuff like that, but these small towns, they don't have poverty in them. They don't have poverty, and neither do the cities. And in America, you know, in those small towns, for example, you have like outlaw biker gangs, and you have like trailer park gangsters. You don't have like trailer park gangsters in Norway in the small towns. Maybe you'll have biker gangs in Norway, but you don't have like trailer park gangsters. And you'll have and in the cities you might have maybe some street gangs, but it's not going to be like in America. And so geography-wise, if you look at a country like America, what do we have to deal with in America? In America, we have triads, the Chinese Mafia. We have the Yakuza, the Japanese Mafia. We have the Russian Mafia. We have the Italian Mafia. We have the Crips. We have the Bloods. We have MS-13. We have cartels. You know, I could just go on and on and on. And like 90% of those groups that I just mentioned don't exist in Norway. You don't have those gangs. Is the Russian Mafia in Norway? Is the Italian Mafia in Norway? Is the Mexican cartel in Norway? No. You don't have those gangs. Is MS-13 in Norway? No, you don't. If these gangs went over to Norway, if the cartels went over to Norway, it would be just as violent in Norway as it is in America. So Norway does not have a border with Mexico. And I have nothing against Mexico. I just want to make that clear. But in Mexico, that's where the cartels are primarily coming from. And so Norway does not have a border with Mexico where tons of drugs are coming across the border and cartel activity. And so Norway doesn't have to deal with that stuff that America does. I mean, like one of the most dangerous places in America, for instance, is the border. And so that's exactly the reason. That's why Norway has such little crime. It's because there's less poverty, and it's the geography. Norway does not have cartels coming across its border and smuggling drugs and guns. They don't have that. Do you have cartels in Norway smuggle drugs and guns across their border? They don't. So when I hear Norwegian people say that, you know, our prison system is better than Americans, and the reason we have such low crime is because our prison system is better than Americans, I would say to them, how would your country look if you had cartels constantly coming across the border and smuggling drugs and guns? How would your country look if you had the Russian Mafia or the Italian Mafia in it? You know, how would your country look if you had MS-13 in it? So in America, we have to deal with a lot of these gangs and a lot of these mafias from all different backgrounds, all different races and everything like that Norway does not have to deal with. This is not a racial thing. There's a lot of different gangs and stuff like that America has to deal with. You know, white gangs, black gangs, Asian gangs. Norway does not really have to deal with all of these different gangs just coming into their country. So that's pretty much what I'm getting at. Is it's the geography in it. Is that America has just all these different gangs and just has, like, you know, cartels constantly smuggling drugs across the border. If Norway had all these gangs that like America had, I guarantee you the crime rate would go up. That's pretty much what it's about. It's it's not their prison systems, it's poverty. And like I said, like, you know, ultimately, like, you know, crime is not a racial thing. I can't stand it when people keep turning it into a racial thing and they keep saying, oh, you know, one race commits more crimes than the other. That's not true. You know, crime affects all races. And a poor white person, like I said, is just as likely to commit crimes as a poor black person. And I can't stand it when I hear people tell me that, like, they'll tell me that, like, somebody that's black is more likely to commit crimes. That's not true. It's all about poverty. If somebody's poor, they're more likely to commit crimes than somebody else. That's ultimately what it's about. So that's all I say. It's the reason Norway's crime rate is so low. Is because there's much less poor people, they have higher living standards than Americans, and also because they don't have to deal with all the gangs and the mafias and all the drugs that America does. Do they have cartels in their country smuggling drugs and guns across the border? They don't. So that's what it is. So even in America, if you, like, let's say that we took all the gangs in America and we just threw every single gang in prison, every single gang, you would still have cartels in America because the cartels are in another country and they'd still be bringing drugs and guns into the country. So that's you'd still have that issue. So if Norway had the same type of border that America does, they would have just as much crime. So that's ultimately my view on it. Norway is a very it's not a very populated country. It doesn't have a lot of population, and the people that do live in Norway generally live good lives. They live longer lives than Americans. They have higher living standards than Americans. That's ultimately why why their crime rate is so low. It's not because of their prison system. Well, it's you don't really look at Okay, that's fine, Mr. Waifu. No, I'm gonna upload Chinatown Wars tomorrow, but it's ultimately I hope you guys like it when I talk about crime like this. I do generally know a bit about it, but it's no, it's not. It's like I said, there isn't a specific group that commits crimes more than others. That doesn't happen. It's like Poverty. That is the main issue. Like I said, it doesn't matter whether you're black, it doesn't matter whether you're white, whether you're Asian, whether you're Hispanic. If you are poor, regardless of what race you are more likely to commit crimes. You are more likely to be in a gang. The solution is to help people get out of poverty, help people stop being poor, you know, help them live better, productive lives, and then you will have crime go down. So that's ultimately it. It's, you know, Norway does not have to deal with all these gangs and these different crime organizations like the Italian Mafia, the Russian Mafia, you know, outlaw bikers and stuff like that America has. Like, you know, America, we have just so many different gangs that, like, Norway doesn't have. And so if Norway had that, they'd have just as much, crime. Yeah, but I would say that too, Mohammed. But, you know, sometimes some of the media coverage you could argue is kind of racist, because the media will constantly focus on black gangs in the cities. But it's like I told you, I don't know why people think this. People think that white gangs don't exist. They think that it's only black or Hispanic gangs, which is not true. There's plenty of white gangs that exist, but the white gangs are primarily outside of the city. They're primarily in rural areas. That's where white gangsters are. They're primarily in small towns, farming communities. That's where they're mostly at, and they commit just as much violence as the black gangs do. You might have black gangs in like a city, but then you're gonna have white gangs. You'll have white bikers, and you'll have white trailer park gangsters in the in the countryside building like meth labs, and you have bikers that will constantly shoot and kill each other. I mean, if you look at Arizona, for example, in Arizona, the bikers constantly kill each other in Arizona. The bikers will rival biker gangs will constantly shoot and kill each other, and that doesn't get as much coverage as the the black gangs in like the cities. So that's ultimately what it's about. Is yeah, it's Okay, so I guess I'll be wrapping it up here, guys. Well, no, there are Asian gangs too. I mean, look at the Triads. The Triads are Asian gangs, and the Triads have a lot more power in America than the Yakuza do. The Yakuza aren't really that much in America. The Triads are. Chinese Mafia. They have a lot of power in America. So that's But I'll be I'll be going here. I'll be wrapping it up. But look, the thing about this is that what I'll say is people have to research. People have to research a bit more into that. But like, look up white crime in rural communities, and you'll see that there's plenty of white gangs and white gangsters and like farms and towns. You don't hear about it because it doesn't really happen in the cities. There's like, there's a misconception, like, people, bikers on choppers mostly. Those are the bikers that tend to commit the most crimes. But you have like for example, like you will have like you will have people who have like this. They have this false theory where they think that all scammers are Indians, which is not true. And I'll tell you guys something. I've seen scammers that aren't Indians. I've seen white scammers. I've seen that happen in retail. I've seen a lot of scammers in retail that are white. I've seen it pull a lot of try to pull gift card scams. I've seen it happen very oftentimes. I've seen the return scam where they will steal stuff and they'll try to return it for store credit. But in Greenpoint in Brooklyn, for example, Greenpoint, Brooklyn is a Polish neighborhood mostly, and what happens in Greenpoint in Brooklyn is that you have you had this scam that happened like it was a year or two ago, where you had like elderly Polish people. So elderly Polish people were being called by these scammers, and these scammers spoke Polish. So these scammers were Polish. It was Polish scammers that were targeting elderly Polish people in Brooklyn. And so what they were doing is they would call the elderly Polish people, and the elderly Polish people, oftentimes their English is really bad. And so what happened is these Polish scammers would call them, and they would tell them that they're from the police, and they would tell them that they have a Polish translator. And so they would tell them that their son or grandson or granddaughter is like in jail, and that they need to go and buy gift cards. And this is the exact same scam that you've seen Indian scammers pull, but this was actually done by Polish scammers. So this was like, so there's plenty of other scammers that, you know, pull a lot of these other scams. You just might not hear about it. So, you know, when I hear people say that, like, all scammers are Indians, that's not true. I've seen plenty of white scammers. I've seen scammers of a lot of different races. So there's, so that was like, it was a Polish, I don't even know if those the Polish people that were scamming, I don't even know if they were in America. They might have actually been in Poland who were doing that. But basically these elderly Polish people, their grandparent instincts kick in and they want to protect their grandson or their granddaughter, and so they go to the store and they try to buy gift cards right away and stuff like that. You know, that happens. USA is the biggest economy in the world, and why is there poverty? That is a very complex question for me to answer. I don't really want to get into the politics of that. There's a lot of different, there's a lot of different ideas of why there's a lot of poverty. But there's a lot of different solutions. But thank you, Manex. Thank you for that. For sponsoring my channel again. Okay. Well, look. Here's what I'll say about that. Is that when people bring up stuff like this, you know, when people do bring up stuff like this, like what people will do is people will say that, like, oh, you know, this group of people, this one race of people is like more likely to commit crimes in this type than like another you know, race of people. But what I will say for that is that every race, every group might have a specific crime that they commit a little bit higher on average than another one. But then that other race will have another separate crime that they commit they commit more than the other race. Like, for example, I'll give you guys an example. I'm trying to think of something. Like, okay, so for example, do you know what race sells the most amount of meth, crystal meth? Do you know who does that? White people. That's who sells the most amount of crystal meth. So what I'm getting at basically is that somebody might say, you know, okay, you know, one race commits, like, you know, this crime more than other. But the thing is, even if you can prove that, the other race commits a whole separate crime, I guarantee you, more than the other race. So like, you know, you go back and forth, and, like, you know, ultimately, crime is not a racial issue. It's a poverty issue. It's based on poverty. So, like, you know, you can point to white people and you can say, well, white people sell the most amount of meth. So that's like, white people cook the most amount of meth. So, like, you know, somebody might say, oh, Hispanics, you know, you know, somebody might say, oh, you know, Hispanics are mostly the cartel and they deal coke. But then you could turn that around and you could say, well, white people are the ones who deal the most amount of meth. So there's, like, so, you know, like I said, it's just, you know, you can't look at it on, like, you know, specific issues. You just look at crime overall. And it's just that it's crime, like I said, it's a poverty issue. It's not a racial issue. It's like, you know, if you're poor and white, you're just as likely to commit crimes as, like, a poor black person. So it's not about race. It's ultimately about poverty, being poor. People don't have a lot of opportunity. That's ultimately what it's about. I get that, Art. I understand your perspective, Art. I get that. But I'm more saying that you know, like I was saying, like, you know, different groups will commit might commit crimes at a higher rate than another group. But then the same thing is that other group will commit more crimes of a different type than another group. Like I said, like, you know, somebody will point to Hispanics. And they'll say, oh, Hispanics deal the most coke and they produce the most cocaine. But then you could point to white people and you could say white people cook the most amount of meth and they sell the most amount of meth. So it's like I don't see the point in like looking at this as like, you know, a racial thing. I look at crime I don't look at crime like that. I look at crime just mostly on like a poverty scale. I look at where it's happening, you know, the poor neighborhoods, who's it affecting, you know, how can we clean it up and stuff like that. It's that's you know, how can we deal with it? You know, that's ultimately what it's about. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess I'll wrap this up. Do you guys like when I have these discussions on like crime and stuff like that? I talk about them a lot in my videos, but I talk about this sometimes in streams. And also, Mario, I don't know if you're still here. I just read your comment just now. I understand your perspective as well on this. You know, I know what you're talking about too. Okay, Ian. Hey, Professional, who was the female GTA Online player? Who, wait, where? Oh, what's the second account, DHC? It's true, I was poor in Georgia and my mom was addicted to meth. She stole stuff from Walmart in return for gift cards to buy food. I'm sorry about that, Feline. I'm sorry that you went through that, but this is ultimately what I'm talking about. That poverty is a leading cause of crime, and I'm really sorry about your mother's addiction. I hope that she got through it, but it's you know, when somebody's a drug addict, you know, they're desperate to get drugs, and you know they're gonna commit crimes. They're gonna steal, you know, to feed their habit. You know, I'm sorry that your mom went through that, Feline. You know, these people need help, and that's like, you know, another thing that I'll say about this is that, you know, somebody that's addicted to drugs, I don't think that throwing them in prison will solve anything. You know, throwing somebody who's addicted to drugs like meth, you know, putting them in jail is not going to fix anything. They're still going to be addicted to drugs. You know, why don't you instead of like sending somebody to jail that's addicted to drugs, why don't you instead force them to complete rehab? Why don't you instead, like, you give them two choices. You tell them you could either go to jail or you could complete rehab. And if you complete the rehab and you get out and you're not addicted to drugs, there's no jail time, no charges will be pressed or anything like that. If you had a system like that, instead of just putting people who are addicted to drugs in jail, I think that would just solve so much problems, personally. So we should try to help people who are addicted to drugs, not just throw them in jail. That's just, you know, stupid. But I'm sorry that your mom went through that, Feline. I hope that she's, you know, everything's good now. Okay, I'll see you, Keiju. No, I didn't hear about that art. Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad goes to rehab. Well, thank you, George. I always wondered about that too. I wonder if Carlos would have like matured and like grown as a character. Thank you, Alfredo, for the comment. Love you, Pro. You don't know how much these streams do for us. Have a good night. Well, thank you, Ice Cream. Well, I guess I'll be going here, guys. Thank you guys for watching my stream. Thank you for hanging out with me. If you guys did like my stream and you guys enjoyed it, do drop a like on it. It does help me to make more content like this. And tomorrow I'll have another part of Chinatown Wars. I'm sorry I haven't had a part of Chinatown Wars in like 3 days. I'm really sorry for that. I was so busy with that GTA video the other day, I didn't get the chance to make Chinatown Wars. But I'll have it tomorrow, I promise. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.